pairings have changed, and it looks like we're going to start off in Group B2, Pool C, with some new players here. Luke, Andrew, Bruce, and Lynn will be playing, I'm not sure how many matches, maybe 2, maybe 4, but they will be the first of the new set of games for the session. And I'm Nathanael, joined by Dustin. We'll be joining the game momentarily. It looks like we're just a minute or 2 away from the start.
Yeah, we will see some good mahjong today.
Yeah, I'm looking at these players. I recognize Luke's name because I believe he was at the top of the pool after the first set of games had completed. In fact, we can see the standings on the screen right now. Luke is indeed in first place with 75 points. Completed the last set of games with 2 firsts and looks like a third and a fourth. But that was good enough for a top score. Must have had some massive first places there.
Or just not losing by that much.
That's a good point. If you have a tight scoreline at the end, then even getting a fourth place is not too bad, and thirds can be pretty light as well, especially if you can get a third place that's over 30,000. And what looks like Lynn is also in the top 4 as well with plus 55. 2 firsts and 2 thirds is not a bad showing at all. And well, it looks like we're getting right into the first match. Dealer is going to be Bruce. To the right, we've got Luke. Across the table, it looks like Lynn. And to the left is Andrew. And, well, it is Bruce starting off with a pair of Southwind, a nice Sozu Nyamen, Manzu Nyamen, and a pretty Pinzu shape. So it looks like a Pinfu type hand. Also a Dora Eastwind in hand. We'll see if he's able to include that. To the right, it's Luke who's got another nice hand. Potential for Itsu and the Sozu, except for the fact that those 9s you kind of want to use as your pair. But already Ishan 10 it looks like. Across the table, a completed Manzu shape and great Pinzu shapes as well. So this looks like your standard Ricci hand. And on the left, well, good shapes all around. So it seems like everybody will be going for a bit of a standard hand here. And a big question is what happens to the Dora? Well, Andrew on the left had discarded his as the first discard. And now Bruce follows that up as he gets closer to Tempai.
The 79 Chi, there's no Yaku there.
That's true. No Yaku here. And this might be trouble because it's Andrew who's gone reach already. Only 5 discards in, waiting for the 2-pin. Ricci only. So perhaps time to play defense. And it looks like that's exactly what Lynn is doing. Oh, 2-pin drawn, but has a couple of 3-mon to throw away first. Will our dealer fight this? Has thrown the pair of Souths. 1 pin is also Genbutsu, completely safe.
Just the 2-pin, but there's still 2 more in the wall.
Yeah, with 2 in the wall, it's not terrible. And that early reach pushes pressure on everybody. I wonder if Manycat's Luke on the right, how far he's willing to push. It looks like with that 9-pin coming out, he's thinking about safety as well. And you can call this, but it doesn't really help too much because then you don't have a Yaku. So dealer passes that, drops the safe white dragon.
And now the Suji trap is set.
Oh, good point. The 5-pin comes out, which is along the 2, 5, 8 sort of Suji line. And so 2 and 8-pin look a little bit safer now. And now we see sort of the weakness of making that early call. You're running out of tiles that are safe. You still have the 5-pin, and it looks like Bruce wants to fight for Tempai, calls the 3, so. And now as Tempai, this doesn't have value. A Yaku.
Or Yaku even. No value or Yaku.
That's right. Well, if you can replace that 9 pin with a 6 pin, then you have Tanyao. Oh,
Oh,
but
the
the
2
2
pin
does come
comes
out.
out. It
Yeah,
hmm,
just running out of save tiles, looks like.
yeah, just trust Suji, I guess. An Ura 2 hit.
Ooh, that makes it a bit more expensive. So nice hand for Andrew to start us off. And dealership passes over to Luke on the right. So 5,200 point hand to start us off. And well, Luke's got the pair of East Wind, which would be double Yakuhai for him, should he call that or draw it himself. And nice shapes, potential for 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku, mixed triple sequence, even if he doesn't call. On the right, we've got a lot of Pinzu, so perhaps we might see Honitsu or Shinitsu even there. Across the table, these shapes are a bit weaker, but there is a Dora, and you could use another one perhaps. So there could be some value there, perhaps Tanyao. And on the left, we see a West call already. Well, that's kind of interesting because West is not Yakuhai for Bruce. What do you make of that?
I guess must be trying to get to pin Hanitsu, but there's no value yet.
Yeah, it seems a bit far away, and you could pair up a North or Green Dragon, and that would give you Yakuhai if you wanted to make a hand that included the Dora 5 on. And you call this 7 here. It looks like that is the play.
And the Dora comes out. Hard to
That was
use it
interesting.
like that.
Yeah, full committal to the Honitsu. It is interesting if you call the 7, 8, 9 shape, then you can keep the 6 and 7 in your hand instead of a 7, 9 in your hand. So you could accept a 5 pin later. Well, it's Luke who's making his play for Tenpai. Managed to pick up a Hatsu pair and called the third one, and is now Tenpai with a 3-sided weight, 3, 6, 9 in the Sozu.
Yeah, just one Han, but with 2 calls from another player, it's fair to go fast.
And you know what's interesting too? It's not well, he'll call this, but he also had the option to call the East as well to add 2 more value to the hand, and then still have a nice 2-sided weight. So lots of options there. Ends up taking the cheaper win and a dealer repeat. And wow, blazing fast call from Bruce. This time the Northwind is Yakuhai.
You're not gonna have any value? Actually, no, it's not the Dora. So, yeah, not gonna have value, but it's gonna be fast. Nice
Yeah,
shapes going fast.
yeah. I mean, you have the top player in the standing so far as dealer. You kind of want to end that, and so totally respect making that quick call there and just moving the dealership along. Well, the dealer's hand isn't bad. You have the potential to make Itsu in the Manzu. Interesting, he passed up the call of the 1, 2, 3, maybe hoping to draw it himself and declare reach for a little bit more value, perhaps add Pinfu to that. And that 9 mon is a great pickup. So now you're only 1 tile away from that hand.
It's a
To the
very good
right,
Ishanten.
yeah, the hand on the right is each on 10 too. So 1 tile away from Tenpai there. Hoping to make Ricci and Pinfu. But in the meantime, it's another call for Bruce, who is 1 tile away as well. And we haven't discussed Andrew's hand. Across the table, he's got a pair of south winds. Now, that's not his wind, but it is the Dora. So if he can build a hand, that's definitely all the value you could want there.
Yeah, he's got 4 pairs. Could go for the Chi toy.
Yeah, good shapes otherwise too. So we'll kind of depend on how he draws here, but pairs does seem likely. And it was interesting on the left, it was Bruce discarding the 6. So it looks like the pair of 6 so will come out. That is a bit inefficient because you do need to have a pair in your final hand. But we'll see what happens here. It looks like it's Luke who found Tenpai drawing the to complete the Pinzu shape, and so it's just a 3 mon that he's waiting on, but it would be Richi Itsu, and barring any Uda, that would be 7,700. Are there any 3 mon left? 1 on the table, 1 in the hand across. So 2 in the wall.
You did see Andrew did get Chito Ishanda, but discarded the 9 to defend.
Safety is the priority here. Well, he is right. Dealing in here would not be good. And I wonder if the hand on the right can make it. The problem is you've got that south wind. You don't want to discard Dora into this reach. And well, this is Tempai on the left. You drop the 4, wait on the 2. Oh, and a 2 is drawn. It's not necessarily safe, though, so we might not see it come out, but it doesn't help the hand. So it looks like there's one, no, all the 2s are on the table, and he swaps it out for the 1-4 weight. Oh, but that's just a 4 weight because we see 3 of the ones on the table.
Doesn't take the tune weight.
Oh, the tune was going to come out too.
It might not have if he didn't just discard it, but
That's true. That's true. It wasn't necessarily safe. Well, there's a 3 Mondron, but
just one more 3 mana left in the wall now.
yeah, I'm curious to see what he'll do. What Lin will do if he draws the Tempai. Ishanten, but what do you do here? Chooses to discard the 5 pair. So playing safety. And well, Octavia, Andrew, has almost backed himself into Tempai as well. It's getting kind of close there.
I know it's a bit far away.
Yeah, a couple tiles. And well, it looks like Bruce swaps out the weight just as the 4-pin comes out, but recognizing that Manzu is the danger suit. Is the east wind safe? We see 1 out and 1 is the door indicator, so probably, and the south wind is confirmed to be safe in the very last discard. Gyukyoku, Luke and Bruce find the extra 1,500 points, and we get another dealership.
Yeah, Bruce didn't get to complete the hand, but that Ryukoku was worth more anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so we move on to South 2-2, 1 Richi stick out, and 2
Well,
Homba.
actually, if he won, we would have picked up the Ryuji 6, so it would have worth more to win, but
Yeah,
not
would have
dealing
moved
in
the
is
dealership.
okay.
You're totally fine playing safe and not dealing into that hand and picking up a few points along the way as well. That dealer hand needs some work, but looking at around the table, it's Bruce who's got 4 pairs. 1, 2, 3 pairs. Yeah, a lot of awkward hands here.
Lynn at
Perhaps
least
it's the hand
has
on the right that looks
Dora
the best.
2 Easts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how long will Bruce keep his? Well, it looks like he might be leaning towards Honitsu and the Pinzu, in which case you might be holding on to that a bit longer than otherwise. It certainly wouldn't fit a Tanyo hand, for example. The hand across looks to be making fairly normal progression, although unfortunately not much value there.
With the white dragon drop, it seems like Bruce might just go for a normal hand.
Now we see the 5-7 Mon shape picked up for Bruce. So yeah, this is looking a little bit more normal. And you can call the north for Yakuhai and build around that. Oh, another pair drawn on the right. 5 pairs now, including a Dora pair. So we could see Chitoi. Oh, that's Tempai. Will he declare reach right now? Dama. Waiting for the 2-so and potentially switching that up to another tile. Kind of danger for Luke right now if he were to draw another 2-so. As it is, Chitoi Dora 2 is worth 6,400 points plus 2 Homba and the reach stick, which would mean 8,000 points total. So you've kind of got a Mangan
It's
of
always good to have
sorts.
those.
Yeah, I wonder You haven't seen the east come out from Bruce's hand. I'm wondering when it will. And this, do you switch for the north weight here? One of the north is
Oh,
the Dora indicator,
hmm.
declares the reach. So now it's all on Bruce.
Will he throw this out? I don't know.
Well, it starts with a 4 pin, which was Genbutsu. And if you run out of safe tiles, you've already made 2 calls, so you probably don't have a lot in hand. You don't really want to drop the east here either. We might see the Norse come out.
No, this is gonna be Toy Toy, so he's gonna hold on to those.
Oh, I see. Yeah, if he chooses to fight all the way for it. Toy Toy with a Tonki weight on the east, perhaps. And the problem, though, is that 2 of the Tuso are already out, so you can't make a set out of those. That has to be the pair. Pushes the 5-so. And nobody else really has anything to fight for here. That's another pair for Andrew, though. He's kind of getting close to a hand, but chooses to discard the safe 5-so. Perhaps you could bank a little bit on Suji and drop the 8-so instead, but this is the safer approach for sure. And in facing a Ricci from 4th place, you don't necessarily want to fight that.
Yeah, especially you just don't have any value in your hand, and no one, well, the others don't have that door in hand. So
Right. Yeah, from his perspective, he has no idea where the door is and might be in that Ricci hand. Luke actually has an outside chance at Tempai here. It's a very wide Ishanten. That nice 3-3-3-4 shape connects up a lot of tiles, including this 2
it
that
doesn't
chooses not
take
to
it, but
call it, but
still
draws,
gets it.
still draws it. We'll see another dealership, likely, as long as he doesn't win by Hote. And we will get another one, another Yukioku. We've got 2 Ricci sticks in the pond. And well, looks like pairs again, also an awkward starting hand. North is the door this time.
Yeah, one door in the hand, but three people already have one in hand, so
Yeah, once
very hard to
again,
use without cheat toy.
well, Luke's kind of, working his way there. He's got 3 pairs now. We don't see the 4-pair start that we saw last round. And well, on the right, it's looking like a Tanyao Pinfu type hand. You can get Pinfu if you draw the 3 mon and the 6 mon. Across looks like a normal hand as well. There's good shapes in the Sozu, and that 2-2-3 shape's nice in the Manzu as well. And the left, it looks like, well, another standard Pinfu hand as well. This one's probably the closest to Pinfu. You've got all of these beautiful Yamen shapes in the Pinzu and the Sozu. Actually, only 2 tiles away from Tenpai here, with a very straightforward approach. Kind of interesting now with that hand, Bruce's hand on the left, you've got 4 different potential sequences, and it's a matter of which one you end up actually keeping. There's no overlap there either.
Probably throw away the 6-7. You can maybe make your way to Sanchoku.
Well, yeah, that's a really good call because you've already got the 1-2-3, and you've got a 2-3 in the Sozu. So if you're thinking about ways to increase value, that 3-4 and the Manzu could turn into 2-3-4 and then 1-2-3, or the 1-2-3 in the Pinzu could turn into 2-3-4, and you could get a 2-3-4 in the Sozu as well to make Sanshoku. Yeah, I really like that. Using that as a way to make the decision there. Always thinking about ways to increase your value. And well, Luke's hand is kind of progressing. We're Ishan-10 now. And you'll notice here, there's a decision between keeping the 8-8-9 Mon block or the 4-5-5 block. I think he chose the 889 mod, sorry, 889 mon block because that one's a little bit weaker. It's not like a double-sided weight like the Sozu set was.
You might end up with a double pair weight.
It's a sneaky double pair weight though, because you've got the 9 so, which is hard to use, and then well, the other pair would be the 8 so, which is also near the end. It always feels awkward when your double pair weight is in the middle of the tiles. More likely that other hands are using those. And well, Tempai found for Andrew declares reach for Pingfu with potential Tanyao and Peiko. Oh,
And Ipatsu. No
Ipatsu
Tanyo
as
passes.
well. Bruce drew the 1.
I guess. I mean, you, you could get Tanyo. I mean, it's just like one more Han, like for going Ipatsu for Tanyo and Ipeko.
Right. You're giving up the Ipatsu by passing and picking up Tanyao and Ipeiko at the same time. But I think personally
Oh,
with
and
the
Sumo.
Sumo 2, well, he does Sumo the 1. So I'm thinking with the Richi sticks in the middle, it's probably worth just taking it as it is, finds the tile himself anyway, and pulls
Yeah.
ahead. But yeah, surprising decision. We don't see wins passed up like that, especially on Ipatsu. Ends up working out though. And we move on to Lynn's dealership. Whoa, that's a bunch of pairs.
Yeah. Four already.
Yeah, and now the 5th drawn.
And
So
Adora.
yeah, probably waiting on Dora. Unfortunately, across the table we can see it's Bruce who's got a pair of the Dora Chun. That red dragon, he can call that for Yakuhaitsu, so that's not really being the hand. So there's one left in the wall. It's Luke on the left who calls the east wind and just tries to push the dealership along once again. Still a bit of ways away, but that hand was probably not progressing terribly quickly anyway, so hoping to draw into a cheap one on that end. On the right, we see a pair of Haku, 2 white dragons in hand, an Anko of the 9 cell already. Oh, it's Bruce who draws the last tune. It declares Ricci waiting on the 5 so.
I, I disagree with that. It's such a bad weight. Early Ricci, yeah, good value, but if you can wait for a better weight like that, you might as well.
Yeah, in this case, you've got 4 Han, and so if you win on a roan, you've already got Mangan. You can Dama this and still get Mangan. And let's see, Ricci, Chun, Dora, Dora, Dora. If you Tsumo, you get Haneman.
I
And
would
that's exactly what
sumo it.
happens. Will we see Una? One Una, but that's not
One
enough to push it
Ura.
out. But
Yeah.
well, the weight turns out
It
great
worked out.
for. Well, we've seen that a couple times. Interesting decisions made, but working out. And well, that catapults Bruce into the lead over Luke and Andrew. And dealership moves on. It's Andrew's first dealership. We're in East 4. And this is not a bad starting hand. Already a completed shape in the Sozu, completed shape in the Pinzu, and potential to include the Dora 4 mod. So I like this. Plenty of opportunity to build a standard hand here. And on the right, this is also looking pretty good. There's beautiful Pinzu shape, and you've got a Dora, so we can make Tanya or Pingfu out of this as well. Across the table, 2 shapes completed in the Sozu and a Dora in hand. So this is looking nice. And on the left, well, I think all the hands are looking pretty decent. One on the left's got that 1-2 pin Penchan. That's a little bit difficult to complete, but filling in this 4 so here is really nice. Some flexibility in there. All in all, I'd be pretty happy to be either of these players.
Yeah. Bruce keeps drawing terminals on honors though, which is not great for improving the hand. Just draws another door though, which is great.
We'll take that. Yeah, potentially open up for Tiny Door 2 or even 3 if another 4 comes out. As it is, it looks like across the table, that 4 is hard to use for Luke. He still has some floating tiles in the Pinzu and, of course, that floating 4. So we'll wait to see what he draws around that shape. And ideally, he would draw a 5 or a 3 mon. Well, there's the 3 mon. And now Ishan 10, waiting for one more draw before he can declare Ricci with Pinfu and Dora. What's a bit awkward for Bruce is you've got this pair of, well, yeah, I was about to say this pair of 9 mon is kind of stopping you from Tanyao along with your beautiful shapes, and it looks like it's coming out. There's lots of opportunities to replace that pair with um, inside tile pair. And wow, look at that, another door drawn for Luke. So perhaps it won't be Pinfu after all. We'll have to wait and see how he gets Tempai. Unfortunately, he's got that 7-8 mon shape, and we see all 4 9 mon out and 2 of the 6 mon out. So that might be harder to complete than it looks.
Yeah, if it comes out, which it might, if Bruce wants to use that for as a pair, then it'll absolutely cheat it.
Mm. Yeah, the only awkward part is that one so in hand. Oh wow, now 2 6s. So how do you do this? It looks like it comes out and said now's the opportunity to mm, yeah, hangs on to that 7 mon. Um, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs now. So you could turn this into Chitoy instead, which would be great given the difficulty of completing the 7-8 shape.
Yeah, without Cheetor, you risk like calling. You could like pawn for Tenpai, but then you wouldn't have a Yaku with that one.
Mhm.
So
Interesting. Uh, Bruce calls the 5 there, so is committing to getting another 5. Oh, it's temp by found on the left. For Lin, it looks like just the 3 pin. Does not declare reach, so no Yaku here.
manages to get Tenpai.
Oh, this 5 is dangerous then. Paired up the 5 pin on the
Oh, it
right, and
comes
it does
out.
come out. Well, it makes sense from Luke's perspective. 5 a bit harder to use, and you can set up a Suji trap on that 8 mon if you're going for 7 pairs. But unfortunately, he was already temp-by. So we move on to Bruce's second dealership in the lead with 44,900. Few pairs to start with, and well, some outside tiles. Discarding the 1 pin looks like you're trying to make reach here. And to the right, we've got a pair of West Wind, which is not Yakuhai, some awkward shapes elsewhere. So this hand's got some work. You can, with this 2 mantra, potentially make a, I was going to say 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku, but it could be a 2, 3, 4. And calls aplenty. We see Haku call on the left from Andrew. So that's value. You've got a door in hand. And East is no longer Yakuhai, but that works as spare. Oh, the door comes out.
No. So the two so call. So either Bruce has a lot of these ones to get rid of, or going for Toy Toy. Not a lot of pairs in hand for that though, or value. So
Yeah. In that type of situation, I kind of prefer just sitting back and seeing what tiles you draw. It does leave you in an awkward position making this early call without clear direction as to what your Yaku is going to be. Um, but perhaps, if you drop, well, you've got 5 tiles to drop to make Tanya with all these 1s and 9s. Toy Toy seems to be where this is heading, though, especially with that 3
yeah,
pin draw. And if someone declares reach, if one of your tiles is safe, then, well, you've got a pair of them. So you get 2 safe tiles. It does leave you a little bit vulnerable in that case, though. Well, the hand across from us is getting really close. Ishan 10 already. There's some options here too. You could make a potential Sanshoku if you were to draw the 9 so in the 789 sequences, or even make an Itsu in the Pinzu with the right draws there. You're missing a 1, a 3, and a 6 to get the full straight. But if you draw one of those, like perhaps the 3 pin, maybe you drop the 8, 9 instead of declaring reach on the 7. Instead, it's
It's a little far away though.
yeah, it is a little far away, especially with Andrew calling his way to Tempai, waiting for the 6 mon or 9 mon. And the 9 mon does come out. Not an expensive hand, but certainly not what Lynn was looking for from 4th place. And well, I'm sure Andrew's satisfied with that. Just moving us forward a little bit to the next dealership. And it will be Luke getting his second crack at things. Well, he had a few dealer repeats in the first go around. This hand does not look like a dealer repeat hand, though.
Yeah, like there's nothing usable, really.
Even the nice shapes that you do have, that 5-6 mon overlaps with the 8-9 mon, so that's awkward. Well, the hand on the right, you've got some Pinzu tiles there that are working nicely.
Yeah, lots of Dora acceptance, including one Dora already.
So you can pick up a second. You've got enough blocks to make a hand, so at least there's something there as Luke continues to draw more honor tiles. Across the table, we've got 789 sequence already completed, and another complete sequence of the Manzu. So it looks like standard progression over here. On the left, a Dora tile and some good Sozu shapes. So potential for Ipeiko here. We'll see if he's able to keep a hold of that 3 pin. Well, this is looking better for Luke. You've picked up a pair in the Manzu, and now your shapes are starting to come together. There's even an outside chance at 678 or 567 Sanshoku.
Yeah, but the Shantan is still so far away. No completed sequences.
And you look at those discards, all terminals and honors, and still more in hand. And you're asking yourself, wait, do we have Nagashi Mangan? No, we don't. Ah, well.
Finally completes the sequence.
This is good. And the 5-5-6-6 shape in the Manzu could become a Nipeko. Discards the 8, so dropping the chance at the 6-7-8 Sanshoku. But you've essentially got 3 Yamen shapes. 5-6 and 5-6 in the Manzu, and then 6-7 in the Sozu. And you can think of the 6-8 as just a floater, although now you have to decide which one of these you want to keep. And chooses to discard the 9 pair, so we might see the 8s become our pair, and we might even call for Tanyao.
Yeah. There's a lot of strength in being able to do that.
Oh, here we go. Tempai. Waiting on the 5-8, so
And
an
it
8
comes out instantly.
immediately drawn. Yeah, that didn't fit the hand, so just 1,500. Luke gets another dealership, and we go again.
Yeah, that starting and just being able to get a repeat like that is very good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll stay right here as the east wind is Yakuhai if you can pair it up, but unfortunately, it looks like they're all going to be coming out. Um, yep, going to be progressing in the standard way to find Ricci. On the right, we've got a completed set in the Bansu, Haku pair, so you can find value there. And I'm sure Lin will probably want a little bit more than Haku only. We'll see if they choose to call it if it were to come out. Across the table, it is Andrew who is not afraid of calling. And look at this hand. So many Sozu tiles. This is probably going to be a Sozu Honitsu. Almost. Template already, only 2 tiles away. Ooh, that's awkward drawing the 6-7 shape. We'll probably discard the 5 mod for now and wait and see what happens, because I'm sure he's not too unhappy to just win 1,000 points or
Yeah.
1,300 points.
That's what he did in the last hand. Oh,
Mhm.
second last hand.
Yeah, on the left, these shapes look really nice for Ricci and Tanyao, or Ricci and Pinhu perhaps, or although 7 Anko makes Pinhu a little awkward, but we'll see where this oh, so definitely not Pinhu now, but there's a ton of flexibility here near Yishan. On the ooh, no con call from Andrew when the one so is discarded. And now decision time. Are we going for Onitsu? The answer is yes. 7 pin comes out, 6 pin to follow. If you're going to do this, so there's a couple options here. You can keep the 6 pin in case you draw the 4, and then maybe you switch back to taking Tenpai there. But otherwise, I kind of like dropping the 6 first and keeping the 7 as a safety tile. As it is, Tenpai already with a beautiful 3, 5, 6 weight in the Sozu. Or Honitsu and Hatsu.
Nice for you on hand to put you in striking distance of the dealer, or the leader, rather.
Yeah, there's also enough food here to push you up to the next level. So
Maybe depending on what tile you went on. It's two, and I'm not great at counting food, but two closed triplets and the open triplet.
yeah, so that open triplet of honors is 4 fu, and then you've got that Anko birds in hand, which is 8. So you're already at 12, and your open base is 20. So you're up to 32, which always goes up to the next level is 40. That's 3 and 40. It should be 5,200. And uh-oh, we see Reach on the left. Richie only for the 1-4. Little does he know, those 1-4s are all locked up. On the right, we've got Tenpai as well. Does not declare reach, but is waiting for the 2-mon and the 3 pin. None of those is. We see a 3 pin is the door indicator. So one of the 3 pin left in the wall, and both of the 2-mon are in Luke's hand. So the widest weight is the Honitsu, and it is found.
Does get the 40 fu.
Yep. 3 and 40. So this puts Andrew so close to second place or first place, only 1,700 points away as we move to South 3, and it is now Lynn's dealership. And this is your chance. You're in 4th place. Now's your chance to make a push. Well, this is not bad. You've got some upper shapes, 7-8 so, 7-9 pin, 6-7-9 mon. So potential Sanchoku there. Also the 8 so's Dora. You can make a decent hand here. On the right, well, 6-7-8 is already completed. You've got a pair in the Dozun, also a Yamen shape, and the pair of North Winds. So your Shantan is not bad here, but the Penshan, 8-9 Manzu Penshan is a little bit awkward across the table. I love this shape. Look at this Tanyao hand. And so much room to draw amazing tiles. Ooh, you could have kept that 9 to incorporate the door, but it looks like Bruce is just thinking Tanyao. And on the left, it's Luke, who's got completed set in the Sozu and potential Itsu in the Manzu. We'll see how that develops. But your Ishanten now, if he finds Tenpai, I'm not sure if he would declare reach right away with Richidora, or if he would hold out for a little bit more value. And well, here you can draw the 6 pin, and now you really like to draw 2-5. And you can definitely take the Itsu 8 there.
Yeah, I saw Bruce throw away the 7 so, which you draw the 8 so, then you just use it, like drop the 5? If you drop the 4. Not
Yeah,
sure about what's going on there.
the 4, 5, 6, 7 shape is really nice because you could draw any of the middle Sozu tiles.
Oh,
Well,
and he
there's the 8.
draws. Yeah, there goes the
Well,
Dora.
perhaps a little bit of tunnel vision on that awkward Manzu shape, especially because even the 2 pin isn't bad there. And well, Tenpai found. So Tenpai for Tanyao. But Luke gets Tempai. It's not the Itsu weight, but it is a 2-5 Mon weight for Richidora.
Yeah, well, it's the same 2-5, so there could be a double Ron situation here.
Oh, interesting. So Octavia is Andrew realizes that you can't make a Yaku with that 9 in hand, discards that. It's awkward to have that Shampon weight, the double pair weight, beyond Suji tiles, the 2 and 5, because if anybody is afraid of that Suji, they'll hold on to both. And we see, well, 3-5 Mon already used, 2-2 Mon used. So 3 in the wall, and it's Luke who finds it out of the wall. Reach Tsumodora, and we find Ura. No, so just 3 and 30, 1,000 from everybody except for dealer who pays 2,000, which is unfortunate for Lynn, who's already a little bit behind. And we move into South 4, the last round of the game, presumably. It is Andrew who's got a pair, 4 of those, including a pair of Dora. Calls the 1 Mon, so it looks like it's going to be a Toy Toy Dash. On the right, a call of Westwind, not Yakuhai, but it looks like a Honitsu is being built there, and there is another call for the Green Dragon. So table alerted, something's going on in that hand.
So far
Across
away
the
from Tenpai.
yeah, a couple tiles needed to be drawn there, but only 2. Across the table, there are really good shapes. Looks like a Pinfu hand with potential Ipeko. Decides not to keep the 1, so because it doesn't really help that 2-3-3-4-4 shape. Um, and if you keep the 8, so you can work your way towards potential keeping Dora, but it looks like the 9 pin is called, and now 1 step closer for Andrew. And on the left, we've got that Uncle of Eastwind. Lynn really needs to build a Reachy hand here for value, and well, this is Tempai. Does not declare reach, wants the better weight. Or perhaps a way to get a little bit more value. Instead, it's Luke across the table who finds reach first, draws the ideal Tuso for Richi Pinfu E Peiko, waiting on the 1-4. We see 3 of the ones already gone, 2 of the 4s in hand on the left, so 3 left in the wall.
If Luke gets the manga on Sumo, it would put them in a tie with dealer.
Oh my. Can the Honitsu fight this? A pair of tunes has been drawn, so you're Ishantem, and you have a safe 8 so to discard. But where's the other tune? It's in Andrew's hand, and now Lynn chases with a better 5-8 weight. It's just Reachy only, though, but you're desperate for any points that you can get. Do you call the Tumon from Andrew? He says, no, I'm just going to play safe here. I don't want to deal into this. I'm in second place, and I want to keep this. And so chooses to discard the pair of 2s instead, is drawing everyone's tiles. Oh, no, it's the 4 drawn by Lynn, and this deals in Richi Pinfu Ipeko. Ura 2 for the Mangan, but because that wasn't Sumo, that's going to end up just shy of overtaking Andrew for second. However, Luke will be very pleased to have finished over 30,000. It's Bruce in first with 41,000 points, finishes plus 26.5. Andrew second, plus 14.8. Luke finishes third with positive 6.8. And it's Lynn in fourth with negative 48. That last hand, everyone was fighting except for the dealer. It was Luke who pulled it out in the end. Unfortunately for Lynn, there wasn't anything they could do while being reach. And well, this pushes Luke further ahead in the leaderboards, still maintaining his first place position, increasing that lead by a small margin.
And then Bruce and Andrew are pretty close now.
Yeah, both Bruce and Andrew moving up, and now 13th and 14th respectively, it looks. All right. Well, we'll wait and see if they plan to start game two. In the meantime, I wonder if the other match hasn't started yet. So there's another table that is planning to play tonight. It will be a group from B1, but they're starting a little bit later in the evening. That was definitely a very interesting first match of session two. Throughout the game, there were a couple points with interesting decisions, and we noted that uh, for the most part they worked out. There was that Ricci with the Kanchan weight that ended up finding Sumo for Haneman, and it was almost a Baimon too. If one more Uda was found, or if it was Ipat's Sumo, that could have been a Baimon. And the lead changed a couple times. It started out with an early 5,200 point hand. I think that was Andrew who had won that. But then Luke pulled out ahead with a few dealer repeats. And then things went back and forth for a little while before Bruce won that massive Haneman to run out ahead.
It's still a very close game for who would be first.
Yeah, it was really tight in the end. And that last hand, really everybody had a chance to overtake someone. It was Lin who had perhaps the smallest chance, but even if you direct hit with Uda-san, there was still a chance. There's still a chance. So definitely something to fight for. And well, I guess we'll wait and perhaps take a quick break in between the matches. Um, we will maybe grab some water, allow our voices to rest, and hang on for that next set of matches. We will, at the very least, we know that there's another match going to be starting in around 10 minutes or so, perhaps a little bit longer with the delay. And so, yeah, we'll take a quick break. Stay tuned, though. We will hopefully be covering another set of matches very soon. All right, so we're heading back into the match. It looks like Andrew Octavia will be our first dealer, has that pair of East winds. To the right, it's Bruce, BK4K, B4K4. Across the table, it's Mini Cats, who is Luke. On the left, we have Anlin, who is Lynn. And, well, again, Andrew with that pair of East winds is looking to call fast and early, get that double wind value, and hopefully add on to that by incorporating a Dora 8-mon as the draws happen. Well, on the right, it looks like, oh, this is a little bit more awkward. We have one completed set in the Sozu, but a lot of honor tiles that have yet to be paired up. Across the table, a completed set in the Manzu, and potential for 3-4-5 Sanshoku. And on the left, it's then with an Anko of the
Oh,
1-pin, and it looks like a pair of Haku as well. This could be a faster hand too, although there are nice shapes to potentially go reach. This is already super close to Tenpai. One tile away, in fact.
Andrew discarding two of the door in a row is really unfortunate.
Oh my, yeah, that is unlucky. And maybe chooses to go Ahatozuka as a result. Like, I've already lost some efficiency and value here. I need to make this up by calling immediately. And so now really relying on that East to come out. Right now, we see one of the East winds hanging out in Bruce's hand. Oh, well, when you draw it yourself, you don't have to worry about all that sort of thing. So you can discard the 2-pin for Tenpai. Instead chooses to discard the 9-so. What do you think, Dustin? Take the early Tenpai here or greed a little bit? Perhaps you're thinking about Honitsu or you just want a better weight.
I think. I mean, I guess you could see like pawning the 5 so for 10 for like a better 10 pie, but it's kind of hard to come out. So I just take the 7-9 to be honest.
Hmm. I guess you can con this for extra foo. Here we go. And well, you reveal 2 Dora, so maybe this is why you make that play. Now I kind of wish it was Tenpai, but you do draw the 4-so and upgrade that shape a little bit. So we'll see how this turns out. Has anybody gotten close enough to fight? On the left,
Yeah, if they get the Haku,
Tilly Shantem. Might even see the 6-mon come out. It's awkward the 4-pin has already been discarded. This could end up pretty 10 if you were to draw the 4-7-so. And well, it's Tenpai on the right, but your weight is just the 7-mon. It's not very
no.
good, but after waiting 1 turn, declares Ricci. So there's 2 7-mon that aren't visible from Bruce's perspective. We see one of those is in the hand on the left being used, and one is in the wall. Just Ricci Dora.
You had to reach it. Actually have a Yaku there.
Yes. There are 2 chances at flipping Udadora, so Ricci seems a little bit less bad in that sense. And you're definitely putting pressure on the hand that's called twice. Tempai found. For Lin Ricci, it is the 5-8-mon. Chi for the dealer who will find Tempai in the 2-5 pin. 2-pin being Dora, one of those left in the wall. And it's
And the first
found! Oh
draw.
my! So East East Dora 3. It's a Mungan for Andrew. That's 12,000 points plus 2 Ricci sticks. And my goodness, that hand got chaotic really quickly.
Yeah, you discard the door, you end up finding them anyway.
Oh, what the hand could have been with those 2 Dora in hand. But you'll take this result any day. And it looks like it's not a terrible starting hand. You've got a completed set and a couple pairs, some floaters in the Monzu. So we'll see how that develops. On the right, I'm liking the shapes a little bit better. You've got the 3-4 Yamen, 5-5-6 shape's good. 4-5-5 shape in the Sozu is good. Still some edge tiles to work out, but you can incorporate the Dora 7-pin, and you can incorporate that twice, actually. Across the table, we've got some nice Tanyao shapes, and so we might see Tanyao or even Pingshu if the right Manzu tile is drawn. That 4 pin is a welcome addition as well. There was even potential for Itsu, but it looks like the focus here is just Tanyao and finding reach as efficiently as possible. And on the left, it looks like, well, an Anko 3 pin and a nice 2, 3, 4, 5 Manzu shape and a Dora draw. So this is looking really good. We see the 1, 3 come out. Nope, 6. So confirming the 8, 8 pair. And this is nice in the sense that you can draw the Chuso for Tempai. All right, choosing to discard the 7 there. So keep hanging on to the 1, 3 instead of the 5, 7 shape. And well, dealer is not too far off now either. Ishanten here too, with a floating tile, either the 7 or the 5 mon. If you can connect to one of those tiles, then you've got yourself Tempai. It's Luke who finds Tempai first, though. Declares reach, waiting for the Shampon, 5 mon and 2. So,
Oh, the 5
yeah,
Shaman sound.
found Tempai. Chose to go reach in the 5. So this deals into Richi Ipatsudora. And well, Luke finding back a few of those points that was lost to the Sumo earlier, plus a little bit extra. So finds himself in second now, and it's Bruce's dealership.
Yeah, lots of good Mon shapes in this hand.
Oh yeah, for sure. This definitely looks like it could turn into Honitsu, and that's probably why we saw the 3 pin, 6 pin come out early.
Oh, and 2 Dora already.
So this could be actually a massive hand for Bruce. We saw him win a Hanuman in the middle of the last game that really put him ahead. So maybe another one here as dealer would be excellent. To the right, Uncle 1 Mon, and really great Sozu shape. So this hand's coming together. Well, on the left, I have to comment on that call. So the North Wind is called. That is Yakuhai, and that also looks like a Honitsu hand in the Sozu, though. It's not the Dora suit, but it's the hand that's pushed ahead. And
Yeah,
the final hand is across from us. Looks like Itsu in the Pinzu. You've got a Dora there, too, so you can make some decent value out of that.
yeah, I'm not sure how Bruce's hand was starting, but probably should have threw out those turtle tiles before the middle tiles if he had them. Like I had
Yeah.
them all at the same time. Just you go for Tanya Dora too.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we looked at all those Monzu tiles, and we're thinking, well, this looks great. You've got Chudora. I'm sure he was thinking, I can make Honitsu Chinitsu out of this, as we are too. Uh, However, you can also maintain a little bit of flexibility, right? There's Tanya Dora too as dealer. It's still pretty good in case you don't draw the right tiles. But it is the Honitsu on the left that gets
Mhm.
there first. All the tiles coming Andrew's way, and that's 3,900 being taken directly from Luke, who falls below 30,000 again. And it is Luke who will get the new dealership.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they had anything. I know the dealer already had 2 of the Dora, but drawing or throwing the So out into a 3 calls So Honitsu, not very likely to deal in.
Yeah, after 3 calls, you're sort of expecting that hand. I mean, they were fast, but you are sort of expecting that hand to be close at least. So a little bit playing a little bit dangerously there, and unfortunately deals in. But maybe fortunately, it's only 3,900. It's about the minimum that was showing with a call of Yakuhai call and Honitsu already. So this dealer hand is looking towards Tanyao. Um, in the right, you've got some really nice shapes, and the Eastwood can be called for value. You might see it, and there it is. Discarding the 7 pin. So this is nice because you can call the 8 so for Tempai.
Khan comes out, Sanzo with the new Dora.
Wow, that's an aggressive con from Bruce. Looks like he's making Tanya.
Yeah. So keeping on to those dragon tiles.
Mm.
maybe get some flexibility, but the Chun is already twice discarded, and the White Dragon is once discarded, so
We're looking at the other tiles. They weren't particularly helpful in hand other than the 8 pin, which is kind of blocked off by the 7s. So maybe just hanging on to that safety as long as possible, just in case somebody declares an early reach and you already conned and opened yourself up. Across the table, it's Andrew who's called the Hutsu already and is getting kind of close, one tile away from Tempai. It does have one of the new Dora 3 sows. And here's Tempai. Which weight do you want? On the right, we've got 4-7 is the choice. Perhaps one of the nice things about this is if you do draw the Dora 3 so, you can discard the 4 and get a nice 3-6-9 weight. With the 7, do you choose to switch out? I was wondering which play you would have made there.
uh, hmm. Well, both so I guess the so tiles are hardly discarded, so maybe feels like Mon are better to wait on.
Hmm. There's also a little bit of potential to walk your way up to incorporating the well, you've already discarded the 9, so maybe that's not a viable play.
Especially Andrew's hand is looking like a half flush, so
Mm.
you feel like no one's gonna drop those into that, but it's not. Oh, it's
Up and the
not.
7 does come out.
Wait, was that could should have been a sumo though?
Oh, that was a 9.
Oh, that was a 9-0.
Yeah. Well, from our view, sometimes the montiles, especially across the table, get a little cramped together. But it looks like it's uh, Lynn, who's now our dealer. Pair of Eastwind is great. Beautiful shapes everywhere else. This is looking amazing. Who can fight this? Well, I mean, the hands across around the table aren't bad, especially on the left. You've already got an Anko of 9, so you're Ish on
That's
10 as well,
Tenpai.
though the Penchant is a little bit worse. And yeah, Tempai, do you declare the reach right away?
It's Ricci Nomi though.
Yeah, it is awkward because you'd really like to get that double East value, but uh, Ricci, I think, is fine as dealer. It is only Ricci Nomi, but you are putting pressure. You can sumo, you can hit an Uda. Ricci Sumo Uda is already good points. You're moving over 30,000.
Yeah, at least it has the extra food for the sumo.
Mhm. And 5-8's not a bad weight either. The
Yeah,
alternative is to what? Kind of sit and wait to pair up a 6 or a 7? Maybe
if you wait a long
maybe
time,
someone
you
more
might want to.
optimistic than I would make that decision. And well, I wonder, can anybody really fight this? Manzu coming out from the Andrew on the right. That seems to be the suit of safety. The Dora is the 4 pins. Pinzu looks really bad though with these discards. Lin has gotten no help from the draws. The suit that he's waiting on is the suit that looks dangerous to the other players.
Yeah, Andrew might go for a pin half flush, especially if those dragons come out. I mean, just a normal hand with those two dragons.
Hmm. Yeah, Southwind is once cut, so it's reasonably safe. Ooh, you've got a chew now. Interesting. Southwind does come out, and maybe we're dreaming.
I mean, the dragons haven't been discarded at all yet.
Oh, there's another South.
There comes out one June.
And now the Sozu start to drop. So this is really leaning towards the Honitsu. If you can put it together, the problem is, will anybody drop the dragon? Then, well, wow. Haku discarded passed, and the second one passes too. So it looks like Andrew's staying back.
I just don't want to deal into the dealer Ricci, even though it's Good
Right.
weight, but not good value.
And while all the fives and eights being drawn by the other players around the table, Lynn must be thinking, give me one of those. Well, not kind
There's
yet, but there's still another
two
two
fives
draws.
left.
It's just two fives. One draw left for Lynn. I mean, picking up 3,000 points from everyone else being no 10 is not the worst. Do you call here? Nope. And the last five drawn by Andrews, so we will go to Ryukyoku. And there's another dealership for Lin. And this is also not a bad starting hand because you can potentially build 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku or just a normal Ricci style hand. Uh, to the right, there's a Dora. Some awkward shapes otherwise, but still some room to progress. Across the table, there is completed shape in the Pinzu, some reasonable shapes in the Sozu, and you've got a Dora, so you can work with that. And the left, Luke has already called the North Wind, looking to end this dealership, pick up the Ricci stick that's in the middle, and there's a Dora in hand. So this wouldn't be bad value to accompany the advancement of the dealership. It also put him into second place, early as it may be. And well, the dealer's called already, so won't let Luke go uncontested here as far as speed is concerned.
Yeah, we're still looking a little far away in the early call.
Yeah, we've seen Luke do that a couple times now, make an early Yakuhai call uh, without having quite all the tiles, but two tiles away technically. It's just some of the shapes look a little awkward. Well, for Andrew on the right, hang discards the one there, so still thinking about perhaps making Itsu in the Sozu. You just need a 4 or 6 tip to improve the reality of that. But can also make Ipeko as well. So a lot of flexibility there. Oh, there's the 4. Declares the Ricci. Ricci Pin Fudora with Itsu potential if the 6 so comes out.
A really nice hand.
Yeah. Ooh.
3 6 is still in the wall.
Interesting seeing that 9 so discarded so soon after that Ricci. The pond is not showing safety there. That 369 Suji starting to come out. Yeah, with like you said, 3 6 is still in the wall. That'd be the ideal draw here.
Yeah, if anyone else draws the 6, I would probably use it though.
Tepai for dealer. 6 9. And 2 9s have already come out, so that's guaranteed safe from the perspective of the other players at the table. Luke might just drop that. He can't find something else. Oh, but it's the 6 so that comes in instead. And Lynn picks up the 1,500 point hand plus the 2 Ricci sticks. So now finds himself over 30,000 points with another dealership. Well, lots of pairs here. 4 for the dealer. Quick Haku call across the table by Bruce, who is looking to make a fast hand here. Already Ishan 10. So one more call or one more draw, and he's Tenpai. Let's see. On the right, ooh, that's a little bit more awkward. Lots of terminals and honors there. If you're playing this on the right, are you thinking just discard your honor tiles and see what happens, or are you starting to push for Chanta right from the get-go?
Definitely not open Shanta,
Hmm.
but honestly might be one of those cases where you just throw out your middle tiles early and just prepare to fold even.
Mm. It does look really awkward, and unfortunately, Andrew's drawn almost nothing but outside tiles as well. Well, that 5 helps a little bit. So now this might turn into a normal hand. And yeah, I'm not necessarily in camp fold immediately, but I think I would probably start with, normal discard progression with those honor tiles. But I would have Shanta in the back of my mind as a possible way to move things forward without taking any damage. And while on the left, it's Many Cats who calls for
Yeah, already.
Tempai,
Yeah,
just Tanyao.
Tenpai, just the Formon.
Luke going speedy once again. And nobody around this table really has a lot of value here. What we're really looking for is the 8 Mon, which is Dora, and no one's got it. Well, this is
One picked up for Andrew, though. Hard to use, but
there's still an out there, and another 4 drawn by dealer. Could be dangerous.
yeah, it's kind of awkward in the hand.
If you draw like the 2, then maybe make 2 sequences out of that. 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Like 2 of 5 would help. Even now, you could drop the 7
Yeah,
instead of the 4.
did he get the 6, though?
Yeah, yeah. Now that the 7's out of the way, there's less concern about drawing the 6. Whereas before, if you'd drawn the 6, you maybe drop the 4 for that 2, 5, 8 weight. But now, it's a matter of which sequence do you want. Oh no, 3 7's drawn, but little does know that's probably a really good outcome. Otherwise, it was likely he would have dealt in already.
Yeah, but the Ishanten might end up
Yeah,
healing in.
one more good draw here, and that's a deal in. Speaking of Ishanten, across the table, it's been Ishanten for a while. Look at all those Sumokiri discards. And still can't find Tempai. You're also probably reading danger on the left if you've been paying attention to the discards. Nothing but Sumokiri since the beginning of the second row. You draw a tile, you just discard it immediately, including a Dora tile coming out that way. So it definitely feels like a hand's either really close to Tempai or Tempai already, most likely. And with a reach on the right, it's Andrew who's waiting for the 7, so. Oh, but Lin finds Tempai. Almost unfortunate to find Tempai because that deals into Luke, who picks up a cheap hand plus the Ricci stick. And we move on to the South round. So getting close to the end of this one is Andrew with the second dealership and a great starting hand, potential to incorporate the Dora 7 so, and just beautiful shapes everywhere else. You've already got 2 completed sets in the Pinzu and some really nice floating tiles. So I really am feeling happy if I'm in Andrew's seat. I might keep the 7 Mon there over the 9. So just because
Yeah,
the 9 is overlapping a bit with, sort of shapes that it can complete with the 6 that you've just drawn. Plus, you might be thinking about some backdoor Sanshoku chances. But on the right, lots of honor tiles, and it looks like with the early 3 Mon, 6 so 8 Mon discard, that Bruce is looking at making Honitsu.
Lin with a very nice Chitoi Ishanten already.
Oh my. And this is on the left, you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs. So it is Ishantem.
Yeah, and 2 Dora pair.
And we saw a hand just like that in the last game too. I can't remember uh, who had that hand, but it was a similar Chichoy with 4 pairs, or sorry, 5 pairs, including Dora. I think the Chun was the Dora at that time. Okay, game back up. And we've got, well, across the table is one of those Doras, and also pretty close to Tempai, 2 tiles away. You can make Tanyao here if you drop the 9 pin pair, and you get the 6 so.
And dealer would be in Tenpai Van, drop that 7 mon earlier.
Pain.
Might end up in Furry 10.
Yeah, because if you draw, say you draw a door here, do you really wait any longer? Oh, interesting choice here. You could turn that 5 6 6 8 shape into two shapes if you'd be required to draw one of the door tiles, but you want that anyway, and you'd get out of that potential Foodie 10 situation, but instead chooses the wider weight, hoping to draw back into Tempai with a 4 or 7 mon. And our Chitoi hand still Ishantem. Call to the right. It's Bruce who's trying to make. Oh, well, I was going to say Tanya is a possibility, but there's also Chinitsu that
Yeah,
requires drawing really well, but there is Chinitsu.
bit late for that.
Yeah, we're already
Play
in
the
the
second row.
last row. But after discarding the Tuso, your shapes are hard to come by. And here we go, that Fuditen Reach you were talking about. Waiting for the 4 and 7 mon. The 7s are all gone. So really this is
Yeah,
a
just
double-sided penchant.
just 1 4 left in the wall. And
Oh
that's it
my.
has to be drawn from the wall because of the Furry 10.
Do you con this? I guess not, because you don't realize it's a Fuditen Reach, but yeah, Tanyao for Bruce. Unfortunately has to discard that 3 so which isn't. Oh, now it's safe. And across the way, Luke is close to Tempai. That awkward 4-2 mon. Oh, Tempai found for Bruce by keeping the 3 so. So now waiting for a 3 so and the 5 pin.
So good availability on those.
Well, one 5 pin left, actually.
Sad this Chito hand, the left just stuck in Ishanten
Oh, it's the
permanently,
worst.
especially with 2 Dora.
Oh, and then drawing another pair. Where's that last 4 mon? Bruce switched Tempai. Now the 4 is dangerous. Luke cons, revealing the east to be Dora, and draws the Dora. And that con has the additional benefit of denying Andrew a draw. So we move to Ryukoku, where it's Andrew and Bruce who found Tempai, and we get another dealership. Tactical con from Luke. Well, this is great for Andrew. You've already got the set of Haku and a door in hand, so you might be uh, calling for a quick hand to grab your Ricci stick back, plus some. To the right, good Manzu. Set completed, and potentially Itsu and the Sozu as well. Across the table, rather, it is Luke who's got some pairs and some shapes that are a bit awkward. But there's potential to maybe work your way into a Ricci there. On the left, nice 4 4 6 8 8 shape. I love that shape. I usually like having that shape closer to Tempai, like when I'm Ishanten, but those 4 pin are Dora, so this could be a nice hand. It's really dealer who's pushing it here. Are you 2 tiles away from Tempai? And importantly, has the ability to call for Tempai.
Yeah, 4 pairs on the hand across, but now calling for Tanyo.
Yeah, it looks like Tanya. Another good draw for Andrew. Now Ishantem can drop the east and still maintain some flexibility. You're wondering what's going to be your pair. It's probably going to be the 6 mon, but you can switch that up. And with this 8 pin draw, discards the 9 It doesn't yet confirm the 8 pin is the pair, but it's very likely to be the case. And now you've got two really nice floaters. You can either draw around the 6 mon, or you can draw around the 6 so. The only awkward thing is if you draw the 7 so, because you've already discarded the 8. And you'd be Huritan in that sense. Ooh, can call for Tenpai here, passes it, and is rewarded immediately by drawing it to Tenpai, declares Richi. Richi Hakudora. Richi tile is called by Bruce, who finds Ishantem, and it's Luke and Tenpai now for Tanyao, waiting for the 2 pin and 2 so.
And Bruce's Tenpai, but on the Dora only. Actually, no. I don't know. I read it like that.
One more pair and he'll be ready. And yeah, it will probably be a Dora wait, which is not looking very live. Where are the 4s and 7s, though? That's what Andrew needs. We've got all 7s are being used in hand, and the 4s, 1, 2 of them. So 2 left in the wall. Oh, Dora comes out. Chi. And the Haku.
Now he's a Tenpai. We have 3/6 spawn.
Ooh, and let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 6 is used. 1, 2, 3. All 3 is used. And uh-oh, this is danger. But many cats had thrown away Tenpai, so feeling the 2 pin was dangerous and could have gotten back into Tenpai, but decided not to. Again, holding on to those lower Pinzu. And dealing into the dealer hand here, the dealer reach would be very bad. So 8 tiles remaining. We are looking for Manzu tiles. All the Manzu tiles seemingly red here. And the 4 is drawn by Andrew. Richitsumo Haku Dora will at least be Mangan. Noda, so Mangan indeed. 12,000. And wow, Andrew in first by a significant margin, already over 50,000 points. We've seen some pretty high scoring games as of late.
Yeah, very commanding lead, but everyone else is very close. And 2 Onkos to start it off.
Ooh, that's pretty nice. And maybe thinking even about building Shinitsu here. Need some more Sozu draw. Oh, hurts a little bit to discard your 1 mon and then immediately draw the door 2 mon, but the hand on the right is looking fairly standard, hoping for Pinfu to include that Dora. Across, we've got also a pretty good hand as well. Just the honor tile sitting out there, but everything else looks like really good for Tanya. On the left, is this going to turn into Honitsu? We see 2 Dora discards already, so it seems like if you want to build value in your hand, it's going to have to come another way. The hands are progressing really rapidly here. Bruce on the right has already picked up an Anko of 7, so and is Ishan 10 for Tanya. Potential Tanya Dora 1. And even on the left, that Honitsu is coming together. Pair of east, pair of south. All the Pinzu tiles you could ask for. It's a race between Tanya. Oh, could have called for Tenpai there. I don't think Bruce had calling on, though, because that passed by very quickly. We see our first call on the left. It's the east wind, so not the Yakuhai wind. Octavia choosing discard that 4 pin as soon as possible before the other Honitsu can get Tenpai. When that 4 might become dangerous. The Haku is once cut and cut by the other Honitsu hands, so it seems like it's a safer tile to hold. As it is, 2 tunes have already been discarded. And you're probably looking to make Chinitsu at this point anyway.
Yeah, maybe even Toy Chinitsu, but
Oh, it's
getting
Tenpai.
closer.
Oh, wait.
Hmm?
Oh, no. If you don't con there, you can use that extra 1 to make that 1, 2, 3 shape. As it
Yeah,
is, Andrew calls the con and is no longer a Tempai. Oh, found his
drops
way
back
back
to
into it. There we
Tenpai.
go. There we go. And the benefit of the con. Well, on the left is a Tempai 2. It's a 5-8 weight. And oh, another Tempai. 3-6. Come
Oh,
on.
Ricci Chinitsu is really gonna hurt to deal in.
Oh, it's going to be so painful, but who's going to get there first? 6-9 weight. Well, there's 2 9s left in the wall. The other 6s are in hand. And it's Ippat's Sumo for the Tanya. Ricci, Sumo, Tanya, and a Dora and Una too with a con call. So that's Hanuman for Bruce. Wow. What could have been at least 18,000 point deal in turns into a 12,000 point sumo. And so Bruce takes second now, 34,000 points and a dealership. Oh my.
Already Shanten for the dealer, but not any value really.
Yeah, not a good Ishan 10. As it is, your weight's going to be, uh, well, likely Shampom. Is there any world where you would have held on to that 3 mon over the 7 pin to think about drawing another pair, or are your shapes just too good to think about pairs?
I'd probably hold on to that, try to get possibly Peiko. It's not just Ricci no Mi.
Mm. So not only pairs, but also you can make the Ipeko and the Manzu the 3, 4, 5 sequence, or you could even perhaps draw a Dora and use that 2 to increase the value a little bit. Well, as it is, the Dora is in the hand on the left, and that hand is looking monstrous. 3 Dora, potentially Ipeko, Ishan 10 already. Just needs a good Pinzu draw. Or even the 2 mon would work. Oh, there's the good Pinzu draw. And here's the reach. 7. Indeed, it is the 7. All right, well, we've got a beautiful weight for Andrew. And will 258 come out? It's reach Eudora 3. Here's the 8. Luke can't use it. And he's each on 10. If he gets Tempai, I wonder if that will come out. He,
With
oh, here's an 8 for Bruce, who also wants
oh,
to
it
fight
comes
for his
out.
hand. It deals in. Ichidora 3, Noda, but that drops Bruce back down into the 20s, and we move to South 3. Ooh, another large hand in this game. We seem to be finding those quite frequently. Either it ends in Yukyoku or Mangan Plus. As it is, it's Luke now in a tight battle for third and fourth. His dealer has the pair of Haku, so can fight for a faster hand here. On the right, it looks like nice shapes for Pinfu or Tanya. And across the table, ooh, that's looking more Chanta Junchan-esque. There's a distinct lack of middle tiles there. So it does feel like perhaps Chanta Sanchoku is in the cards. And on the left, we've got some nice shapes and a floating Dora 5 mon. So we'll see if that can get incorporated. You could make a 3, 4, 5 Sanchoku potentially. Oh, but the Dora comes out. Hmm. Well, perhaps thinking about building Itsu in the Sozu instead.
Maybe no need to.
Yeah, perhaps even Honitsu. We gotta get rid of those 4 pin tiles, but and you'll probably find Tempai before, but that is something to think about for sure. And that 1 is a nice pickup. You can find Tempai. It's not going to be a value Tempai per se, depending on whether you can get Itsu or not. Because the east wind is not a Yakuhai in this round, it's not the round wind, it's not the seat wind for Bruce. You could find Pinfu with this as well. So there's potential for Mangan. Oh, but look at this beautiful hand for Andrew
Oh, another
finds the
Ricci comes
Tempai.
out.
Yeah, two Richis. So Andrew's got Richi Junchan waiting for the 3-so, and Bruce has Tempai waiting for the 1-4 pin, which has been discarded already several times for Richi Pinhu, potentially Peiko.
And now dealers in 10 buy. 4 or 7 Mon.
Yep, Hakudora to 2,900. Those two reach sticks in the pot, this suddenly becomes quite a valuable win, especially from fourth place. That Sanso's picked up, and the 7 deals in to the dealer hand. So this is great news for Luke, who now moves to third place and fighting for second even. We get another dealership. And in this case, the hand less quick, but you've got some good shapes in the Manzu. And so we'll need to draw a few more good tiles on the right. There's that pair of west wind, and it's a lot of floating tiles. You've got 4 pairs though. So we'll see if that turns into maybe a toy or 7 pairs. Across the table, two wind calls from Andrew. Neither of those is value, but it looks like Honitsu is going to be built here,
Yeah,
or even
other way
Chanta.
around it. Well, yes, Chanto, yeah.
We'll see what he decides here. This is really a sticky point. I mean, I guess you could start with one of the honor tiles and wait and see, but really decides Honitsu is the way to go. Wants a little bit more value, I guess. On the left, well, you've got completed Suzu shapes, so that's great, and it only gets better. So this is technically Shanten hanging on to that Dora tile, hoping to draw some more value here. An uncle of the birds has been picked up by Lin, the 1-so. And oh my, more Sozu drawn on the left by Bruce. This could turn into San Uncle. Draws like this keep happening.
And maybe just cheat toy, though.
Dora finally comes out from the left, and our dealer hand is turning into more of a Tanyao. Still hanging to that 7-8 that overlaps with the 4-5. And more pairs drawn. Perhaps Luke realizing that this table is getting nothing but pairs right now. Hangs on to the pair of 4s.
Andrew drew into Ishanten.
That Honitsu, yeah.
Yeah, not gonna have any extra value, but being first, just wanna end the dealership.
Right. I mean, you're first, and everyone else is below 30,000. If you can keep it that way, you're earning an extra 5 points towards your standings. So this is Tempai now, waiting on just the 7. Wait, is that a 2 or 3? That's a 2, so not Tempai yet.
Yeah, not quite yet.
I saw 3 lines when they were only 2. Oh, this is interesting. Maybe less interesting than I want it to be, though. Yeah, the 1 comes right back out. Really, you're looking to find a better pair than the 7 here. A call for Luke. Ishan now for Tanya. Bruce calls the 4-5-6 is showing
Yeah,
Tempai, but it actually has no Yaku here, so probably going to discard the 9s if possible. And now we have Tempai. For the Honitsu, discards the 2, waiting 4-7 now. And as anticipated, the 9s come out from Bruce.
yeah. Sadly, the 7s are in the discard, and the 4s are just gonna be stuck in the dealer's hand. Use one more somewhere.
Mm. Will he switch the weight here? No. A quick scan of the table says, well, the hand on the right just drew another Anko. Is there another West in the wall? I think there is. Ah, but the 4 comes out, and
Um,
Andrew wins the Bakahon, the 2,000 point Honitsu only, which is exactly what Andrew was looking for. So dealership moves one more time. We're in all last. It is Lin with another chance to fight out a fourth, not too far to grab to pass up Luke on the left. 3,900 would do it. So you can make 2 and 40.
but good chance for Sanchoku though.
Yeah,
Or do you
7, 8,
count
9,
him?
and yeah, exactly. Ooh, you could even set up a Suji trap with the trapping the 5 on here. Oh, does not a
Ooh,
believer in Sanshoku. It's a little bit of a difficult decision because the 5, 7, 9 shape is good to keep there, but in order to hold on to that, you have to discard the Dora 7, I think, 7 pin. And so instead choosing to hang on to that Dora, well, now
or as
discarding it.
well.
And if you're going to do that, I think I prefer hanging on to the 9 a little bit longer, just in the hopes of Sanshoku. Oh, well, speaking of ways to increase value, on the left, it's Luke who's drawn a Dora and now is one tile away from completing the Itsu. Just needs the 1 pin. And that's also one tile away from Tempai as well. Across the table, Bruce looks like he's fighting for Honitsu now. That'll be the second Honitsu hand uh, on the other side of the table from our perspective in a row. And on the right, lots of Manzu tiles and a pair of Northwind. We'll see. We'll see if this turns into Honitsu for it, or if it stays a regular hand and maybe Ipeiko.
Probably don't want to greed too much. Just
Mhm.
get a hand, take your points.
Yeah, we see he's holding on to the Sozu tiles, which look dangerous to the player to his right. So when you're in the position of being to the left of a player who is fighting for Honitsu, it always feels like you've got a little bit more responsibility to make sure that that player doesn't call your tiles because they can call chi from you, of course.
Yeah. But if you want someone to deal into a big hand, you just feed them the tiles. Just don't feed them too much.
That's a good point. And wow, speaking of feeding tiles, there's a Haku, there's a Khan, but there's a reach. And it's Luke who's found an Anko of one Mon waiting 147 now. Potential Itsu on the 1. Richidora for now, but this could, with Uda chances and getting the 1, this could be big.
Yeah, easily get second place from that.
And you can pass 30,000 here too with a Mongon. Oh, how much do you want to fight if you're in Lin's seat? Well, the 5 comes out, and that wasn't necessarily guaranteed to be safe. And this is Tempai now. What does Lin decide to do here? 2 mana safe. Declares the Richi waiting for 7 mon, 2 pin Champon. We see 2 pins gone, and for 7 mon, only 1 left in the wall. But it's a fight, and a fight from Bruce as well. Now waiting for the 7, so someone's got to win this hand, right? Surely. I
Well,
mean,
3 7 stows already accounted for. Oh,
oh,
now
the
it comes
last
out.
one. The last one drawn by Luke deals in for Mangan. This is Honitsu Hakudora, and that puts Bruce over 30,000 and it drops Luke to 4th. Oh my.
It was a good reshoot worth fighting for, but just unlucky with that last
Oh,
7
absolutely.
draw.
He's going to look back on the log and feel extremely unfortunate to have gotten the last one with that beautiful 3-sided weight. Well, as it is, it's Octavia who finishes first with plus 38.7, Bruce second, 10.4, Lynn third, negative 17.5, and uh, uh, Luke last place with 31.8. I think I said Andrew first with 38. Well, Luke's still in the top 4. So we've seen a battle here in these two games, and I wonder if we've got another one coming up. It looks like,
Yeah, they just started a few minutes ago.
yeah, we can we can potentially switch over to the other set of games. So we've watched two of the B2 games. We can move over to B1, which I think has just started a little while ago. We might be coming into East 1 or East 2. But yeah, I think we can move over to table B1 featuring Andres, Perry, John, and Ryan. That would be an exciting match to watch. Of course, uh, I'm really excited to see all of these and really curious to see some of this B1 play.
Yeah, we've already seen some interesting plays and decisions from this game. So we'll see how these players play.
I wonder if we had the chance to watch any of these players in the past. I know you've broadcast a couple of these. Do you remember seeing Tosaka, Sashimi, Big Hat, or Ranjan in any of your games?
Honestly, I do not. I don't think I broadcast. Well, not. I wasn't casting when they were playing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag because we've had multiple broadcast crews for each of these games. So I'm certain that we've seen a couple of these players on stream, but I don't know who was casting during those games
And there's so many players in the league now. It could be hard to remember who you played against.
for sure. And yeah, I'm thinking I don't think we've seen Andres yet, and it looks like we're getting into the game right now. We've caught right at the beginning. We're in East 2, and did we just see a past Roan, or I saw an orange tile come out, but then not called. It looks like in the there it is. Perhaps that came out before the reach. And it's just 1,300 points for Tosaka, who is Andres. And it looks like we'll move over to Ron John's dealership. So this is John. And then to the right is Sashimi. It looks like Sashimi is Ryan. Uh, Big Hat is Perry. And of course, I think we covered everybody. Tosaka, Andres. And it looks like, well, Ryan's got the lead to start us off. But it's John who's dealer now, and looks to be building a Tanyao Sanshoku hand. We've already got the 678 call, a 678 mon in hand, and potential 678 in the Sosu. We'll see if you can put that together. It'll be a nice 2,900 points to grab another dealer round and advance his position. To the right, Ryan's got a pretty speedy hand. Yan Shan Ten. No doors in that hand, though. The 9 mon is door, and one of those is in Andres' hand across the table. That's looking to be a Chunchan. Chunchan, door 1. We'll see if he calls here. Does so. And we'll need to complete the 1, 2, 3 shape and the 1, 2, 3 shape for the Manzu as well. So Pinzu, Manzu, both waiting for the 3. As it is, it's Ranjan who finds Tempai. Waiting for the 6 mon only. Oh, well, there's a 3-pin found. So Now it's Andres Tempai on the 3 mon for just a Junchandor 1. And he finds it, wow, filling both penchant back to back. And that's, well, great round for Andres, who finds himself second now, over 30K. Dealership moves on to Ryan on the right. And it looks like this is a reasonable starting hand. We've got pair of 9 mon, good shape in the Manzu as well. Sorry, pair of 9 pin. Probably end up being the final pair in this hand unless he switches to Tanya. A call of the south wind to the right means that Andres is looking to finish this hand very quickly. Not a lot of value here, but you want to put yourself a little bit closer to first place moving forward into the south rounds and grab dealership. Next, we've got across from us, well, good Manzu shapes, already completed set in the Pinzu. I'm guessing this is Ishan 10, just waiting to draw a tile near the 5 so or 7 mon, or really any mon shape there. And then on the left, we've got potentially Itsu. Well, after that call, there's some options here. We'll probably find Tempai before Itsu, so looking to just make Chanta perhaps instead. Tempai found first for parry though, and this is Richi Pinfu waiting for 6-9. After that south call on the right, Andres found Tempai waiting for the 5 mon, so we can see Mansu is the danger suit right now. And if John can get Tempai in the Pinzu, then another Manzu tile will become dangerous. Tempai now for Ryan, for Tanya Pinhu, potentially Peiko on the 6 mon.
Interesting Dama.
Yeah, interesting Dama play. Sumo found. Richi, Sumo Pinfu, and Adora with the 8 mon being drawn no Ura, so not maximum value, but still a nice pickup for parry. And we've all of a sudden got a super tight score line clustered around 30K again. It's Andres who finds himself exactly at 30K, and Dealer with some great Pinsu shapes. Adora in hand, perhaps going to make Tanya, especially with that 7 pickup. You can start to drop that 1-2 shape in the Sozu, and that's exactly what happens. On the right, some reasonable shapes and 2 Dora as well. So that hand, if you can find Tempai, there's some value there. Just a little bit harder to find Tempai with the Kanchan shapes that need to be filled, that 2-4 shape in the Manzu and the 3-5 shape in the Sozu. But a 6 mon is a great pickup. Across the table, we've got lots of pairs and Tanyao type shapes. So we might be looking for Tanyao or Pinghu, one of the two. On the left, this looks nothing like Tanyao or Pinghu. This looks more like Chanta.
Maybe Hanroto.
Honroto would be, well, with that 2-pin discard, kind of what we're looking at, isn't it? Well, I'm really excited to see Honroto. I don't think I've seen one recently. And there's
Maybe
another pair drawn. Oh my.
if
We
a
could see.
dream, all terminals and honors.
Oh my. If you drop the all your east, each of your east, your north, your green, you could get all terminals only, which would be Yakuman.
Yeah, all terminals, yeah.
Well, there's a call for the 1-so, and the Green Dragon comes out. In order to get that, I think you'd have to like draw a 1 or 9 mon and drop the north and then draw the other one. But
Tenpai.
right now you've got Tenpai, so I think it's too late to go for that. As it is, Honroto Toy Toy. But
Doesn't
the 4
happen.
comes out from dealer. Tanyao ends it all. Tanyao Dora for dealer. And that sweet, sweet hand falls prey to a much cheaper hand. which is, of course, wonderful for Andres, who would have had to discard either of those winning tiles. And so move again, south round, one Humba, Andres dealership, green dragon pair, so we can call in again for another cheap hand. Unfortunately, no other value here. You could also make reach because you're pretty close, only 2 tiles away.
Yeah, had a door, but dropped it immediately.
Yeah, it didn't quite fit the hand. And well, there's a door to the right that doesn't quite fit the hand either, but the other tiles were much less useful, so we'll hang on to it as long as you can. There's the Hatsupom, Ishanta now for dealer. Across the table. We're working our way towards Tempai, but it's a long way in coming, especially when dealer has found Tempai, waiting for the 6 and 9 mon. And unfortunately, for John, that might come out soon, because that 9 mon is not looking like a healthy tile in that hand. And out it comes. Hatsu only, 1,500 plus the 300 Honma points, and we go again. Now Andres has taken first place and starts with 2 Dora and that Hatsu pair again. It comes back. So you can call, and this time your hand's going to be worth a little bit more. 4 pairs now as well. Depending on what comes out, you could see the hand value increase even more. Maybe not after that 2, 3, 4 sequence is completed. To the right, there's a south pair. That's double Yakuhai for parry. And so we could see another fast hand here as well. Oh, that north coming into hand. Discards it immediately. And will Andres call this? Yes, going for the
Yeah.
Mangan Tempai. Hatozuke for the Hatsu only. And we don't.
I would just draw it.
Oh! We keep saying that. It keeps happening. Just draw it. And it's a Mangan Sumo for Andres. 4,000 all, 12,000 pickup total for plus the Homba. And my goodness, the dealership keeps coming. And this one, finally, no Hatsu pair. 1 Dora in hand. One of the Haku has already been discarded, so less likely to become an uncle. A bit farther away, and to the right looks better despite the awkward shapes, looking to be Chanta or Junchan, potentially Peiko as well. She can draw 2 of these 7 so, but 2 of the 7 so are in John's hand across the table, and this is looking like a very natural Pinhu type hand, perhaps. Tempai now, but do you really want to reach this? There's not much value upgrade here. I guess you could draw the 4 pin and make Tanya. Decides the Dama and wait a little bit to see if you can draw better shape. We are hitting the end of the first row, so maybe we'll see a reach very soon. Oh, is this Tempai on the left?
Looks like it. Just
Nitsu Dora 2. No, it's not quite there. But maybe after this 4, yeah.
oh, it comes out
Oh, and the
immediately.
Haku comes out right afterwards as it's safe to the first reach.
Massive Urasan?
Honitsu Dora
No,
3,
that was
because the
Dora.
Haku is Dora.
That wasn't even Ricci, was it?
It wasn't even Ricci. Oh my. Ricci would have been Baimon, but I think you're fine with Dama as it is. That drops Tosaka down and puts Ryan in first now. Especially because the Haku was safe from the reach. If somebody had it, it was likely going to come out, as you're not reading that Honitsu hand entirely closed to be Tempai for that type of value. And while Andre is trying to fight back some of those points, early Tune Call has a Dora South in hand. We'll hope to pair that up and make a 3,900 point hand. Perry is our dealer, and he's got a great start towards Tanya Pinfu. Potentially Peiko now. Ishanten here. Not looking to be Pinfu with the current shapes.
2 calls from Ryan, but Atazuke on the Hatsu.
Interesting. Perhaps that's why we didn't see the call of the 7 so there. So you kind of need that as your pair.
Yeah.
Or Chanta. It's Tempai on the left, though, already super fast. We've got a 5-pin, 6-pin weight. Not value here, but
Ryan might end up in Furry 10 because of dropping the 6
oh
Khan earlier.
my, a Khan revealed 7-pin to be Dora, and now the hand's value. G for Ryan, who is now Tempai on the 8 so, but
Oh, just
oh,
draw
he
it.
draws it. So this is Chanta Sanshoku and a Dora, and wow. He made things dangerous by calling Khan there, but when you just draw the tile yourself, you don't have to worry. And relief, although he didn't
Yeah.
know the 7-pin were all in the other hand, definitely some relief from our perspective as viewers.
Got 1 door in your hand from it, so it's worth it.
That's true. It definitely increased the value. And was that Khan enough to make it
It's 50 Fu, I think.
okay? And well, dealer hand, 3 pairs, lots of Pinzu tiles. After dropping that 4-mon, it's called quickly by Ryan, who wants to make Tanya Dora. Tempai already waiting for the 5-mon 3, so
All the 3s are still available, and 1 5 in the wall.
can anybody get there before him? It's looking tough. The hand on the left, though, is close. Ishantem. Kind of like dropping the 2-mon, but that 7 so isn't so good after having dropped the 9 and the 5 already. So instead, it's reach for Andres, waiting for the 8-pin only for Richidora. And well, it's really been a battle between these two, Tosaka and Sashimi, who are Andres and Ryan.
Just 1 8 pin left in the wall.
But Ryan doesn't need it, so if he does draw it, we might see it come out. Of course, I'm sure Ryan's been hoping to improve the weight. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice this, but he had dropped 3-mon earlier. Could have swapped that weight out to a 4-mon Kanchan and included that other Dora tile. Well, now it's a 2-5 weight for Ryan, so this is a little bit better.
Yeah, the
Oh,
5
5-pin.
being safe against the Ricci.
Yeah, now you're showing Suji, but you just draw the winning tile and you don't have to worry about things. So once again, Ryan ending the round a little bit before Tosaka would have liked, and we're in South 4. And from Ryan's perspective, you're just trying to rack up a few more points before the end games, or gracefully exit your dealership without taking damage. At this point in the league, say you're close to the end of the game and you have a chance at taking, Tempai in another round or no 10 and ending the game. Last draw, would you take the Tempai and go around again? Or would you say, 53,000 points or 52,000 points, however much, that's enough for me.
I mean, it's me you're talking to. It's you always just
That's
like get
true.
that value.
And remember, folks, this is the man who was the first person to score over 100,000 points in a single game in this league. And now we've got another person, but you were definitely the first. And so I can definitely I should have known what answer to expect. Right for the value.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
not
well, there's
even just like the points, but like the psychological damage of putting people through all those repeats
Hmm.
can help a lot.
Yeah, there's more games to be played after this. Interesting choice on the left. There was Tempai there for John, but chose not to take it as it would have been. You'd have to drop that Dora 3-mon, and it would just be Richinomi. So fighting for a little bit more, especially when you're in fourth place, you want a little bit more. Well, this gives Perry the first Tempai, declares Reach waiting for the 6-9 for Ricci only. And it is John who's dropping the Haku pair, but has potential to make Sanshoku now. 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku.
Lots of sixes and nines on the wall.
Oh, this is Tempai. Does he take it? You can drop the 3 safely. Chooses the 7 instead. So now you've created a Nakasuji trap on the 4. Well, at
And
least for the
Sancho
first
is that.
reach.
This would be great value if you get it.
Yeah, that's probably the more important reason why you choose the 7 discard there.
But all the fours are in everyone's hand.
Oh no, the 6 is
Oh,
drawn.
is that enough?
Oh, you need to did not get it. And what that accomplishes though is dropping Andres below 30,000, which means that Ryan will actually earn an extra 5 points. So congratulations to Ryan for 53,000 points plus 43.5. It's Andres who finishes second, -1. Perry third with -8, and John fourth with -34. And looking at the standings, well, Ryan really needed that win because it looked like he was kind of near the bottom, but now climbing his way
Yeah.
back up, and it's still early days. This is only the second session. The first few games of the second session, there's still time to catch up. And you don't even need to worry about advancing to the next round because even finishing middle of the pack will prevent you from dropping down a division. So lots to fight for here.
Yeah, I believe Ryan was around the minus hundreds, but breaking pretty solidly out of that.
Yeah, and it's Andres who finished second there, -1, still maintaining a decent position in the middle of the pack, a positive score at least. And John, who finished fourth in that game, also still middle of the pack there. So not bad. And it looks like this is second game complete. So these players might have decided to call it for the evening. Um, I wonder if there's any other game going on.
There was a third game from the table we originally started on.
Okay. Are you down to take a look at that one? We could switch over mid game.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take a look. They will have started a while ago, so we'll switch over to that and see where we are. And so this will be the original game that we started with Luke and company from B2 Pool C, I believe. I'm really curious to see how they fared while we were gone. I'm glad we got to catch a little bit of that B1 action though,
It's definitely nice to switch it up,
for sure.
though. Now we're going back to this table, which they don't have this. They don't all have the stats yet, but lots of calls happening here.
Yeah, I'm really excited for when stats will get updated for the new players. We have some stats from the previous league, the inaugural beta league, for some of the players who played in there, but especially this B2 league, all the different pools. We don't have everybody in just yet. I'm really excited to see what those look like. And you're right, we have been seeing a lot of calls. Looks like we're joining the game now in East 4. So we got about halfway through the game, and the scores haven't changed that much. Early lead for Luke and Lynn in second place, closely followed by Andrew, who is our dealer, with 27,000 points, and in fourth is Bruce. But looks like Bruce might be getting some of those points back. Chooses the 3-mon West weight to include Toy Toy in this hand. And my goodness, it's South Toy Toy Honitsu. If a 3 or a West can come out. Reach declared by Andrew. Picks the 2-5 weight. Oh,
Oh, the
there's a West drawn
West.
by Lynn. Oh, can you drop this? It doesn't fit your hand, but it's so dangerous. Chooses the 8 instead. Good call. How are 2 and 5s looking on the board?
Yeah, the threes are dead. It's one West in the wall, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And for dealer reach, well, we hit the end of the wall, so no chance there. In Yu Kyoku, it's Andrew and Bruce who pick up 1,500 points each, and we move into East 4 1. Uncle of 1-mon for Andrew, but not much else here. There's a door tile and a 3-4 Yamen shape, but needs some work. On the right, 3 pairs in the Pinzu, but a complete shape in the Manzu makes you think less about pairs and more about building a normal hand. It's just having a pair of 1-pin, 2-pin, and 4-pin is a bit awkward for making normal shapes. So I guess you're hoping to make an Anko out of those. If you get 3-pin, 3-pin, you can make Ipeko, though. Across the table, uh-oh.
Yep, thinking Kokushi.
Yeah, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 unique tiles. You can make a backdoor Honitsu, though, and it seems like lots of Sozu tiles are being drawn here. But maybe this is one of those hands where you drop all the middle tiles of the other suits and sort of lean towards Kokushi. And if that doesn't happen, Honitsu. And if that doesn't
Yeah.
happen, you just bail.
White Dragon is almost dead, so they might just bail.
Yeah. There's also a 7 pairs route, but with only 1 pair in hand, that seems, well, 2 pairs now. Oh, and discarding the Forso, so maybe committing all the way for pairs or Kokushi. On the left, we see more pairs as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs. So that's Ishan 10 for Chitoitsu. 7 pairs. Our dealer hand has been progressing nicely, though. We're getting kind of close to Tenpai here, 2 tiles away. With 2 Dora 6-pin in hand, this is looking to be a very good value hand as well.
They lend threw away the 4, 5, 6. So not sure why they did that.
Interesting.
Still gotten to Ishaten though.
Yep, you still get your pairs chance. Ooh. Always feels unfortunate to draw that pair, but you don't necessarily need to make pairs here. You can complete an Anko somewhere. Then you've got Ricci with Sananko chance. Oh, calls the Poe. So now just takes the fast Tenpai. 6 would deal in, and it does come out, as it did not fit Bruce's hand. So we do get to advance the dealership one more time. We find ourselves in the South round.
Just one on, but slightly better second place.
Yeah, getting that over that 30,000 point barrier is huge, especially the later and later we get in the rounds. And well, it's Bruce's chance to make a dealer run. You've got a pair of Haku now, so that's not a bad start. Everything else looks like it needs some filling to do. On the right, well, that's a fill. You grab that 3-mon, and you're looking great in the Manzu. Potential Itsu there even, although perhaps more of a normal hand will come out of this. Across the table, we've got, well, spread out shapes. Maybe you're even dreaming about Itsu there too, if you're trying to create value out of thin air, but looks like that hand needs some work too. And on the left, well, You've got a door tile, so that's always a good start. And just building towards Ricci like seems everybody else in this table is. Except for Bruce. Bruce can make that call. Suppose you were on the right hand. Luke, how eager would you be to call the 3-4-5 Kanchan or the 2-3-4 sequence? Try to make Tanya. Do you think
Mm,
that leaves you vulnerable or
a bit vulnerable, but also like not really having any value. I mean, you're on first, but you don't have a very comfortable first.
you'd also be forced to drop the door 9 pin, which probably not something you generally want to do. We are getting to second row, and you're still 2 away from Tempai. I like the way that Luke has switched his hand up, though, to accept a really wide array of tiles, and that 4, so it's great. So still hanging on to the chance to incorporate Dora. As it is, Dealer is the one who's called into Tempai, waiting for the 6 so or 9 so. Haku only. Oh, I was wondering that 6 so didn't really fit the hand, and it does come out. Cheap, though, but it does push Bruce ahead of Andrew for third. And this starting hand looks a lot better. You've got nice shapes in the Manzu, Pinzu, and Sozu, and you've got a Dora 8 pence. So we'll look for a standard hand here. To the right, completed shape in the Manzu and a pair. Awkward shapes elsewhere, but you do have that 8-9 penchant that does include Dora. So you can perhaps get a little value out of that. Across the table, we've got a West pair and a White Dragon Anko now. So this looks to be valuable. You've got a Dora tile as well. On the left, looking more like a standard hand. I'm hoping to make Pinfu and Tanya out here. All right, question. If you are across the table now in Lynn's position, are you calling that West if it comes out right now?
Mm, well, it's an extra Han. Sure, why not?
Yeah, you lose the chance to reach, but you do get that extra Han right away, and you are in a tight battle for first and second. An interesting decision. Fortunately, it doesn't have to make that choice just yet because we don't see a West.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a West yet. If you're Ishan 10, you've got the chance to reach. It is a close call. On the left, a call made. Chi specifically, and it looks like Andrew's making Tanya out here. The hand to the right is Ishan 10, as is, well, not quite our dealer hand, but we're getting close, 2 tiles away. Would you drop? The 4 or the 9 here. It looks like he's hanging on to that 9 pin in the hopes of drawing another Dora. Now the call's made, not for the West wind, but rather for the 4 Mon and Tempai and the 4-7 for Lin for just Haku. Call on the left as well, Tempai for the 5 pin for just Tanya Dora.
Could still call the West for the extra Han, but the
Yeah,
worst
you
rate.
you switch to a pair weight, but maybe you think you can make another
Or even
find
flex
another pair
to
later.
Honitsu for even more value.
Well, that's a good call. That 5 comes out. Yeah, you could have made the switch right there, dropping the safe 5 pin, hanging onto the 1 mon, and then hoping the 6 pin passes, which now is revealed to be safe. Oh, and then you could have called for Tempai there. That would have been Honitsu with the Haku, but we'll see if the 4-7 comes out instead. It's definitely a hard decision to choose to give up Tempai, and the 4 does come out. After all,
Just
it's 1,000
one Han,
points.
but slightly further in fourth.
Yeah, and that pushes Lin into first now. As dealer passes, we move to Luke's second dealership. He wants to take back that lead. Has, well, I'm thinking Chanta kind of, because you've got that 9-8 shape and the 2-3 shape, and you've got the pair of norths in hand. And you've also got a door east. The problem is that 6-7-8 shape. And what this might turn into instead is just a normal reach. Unfortunately for Luke, you've got a pair of Haku in his hand and the hand to the right. Well, you could call this if you're really committed to the Chanta, but decides against it. And the hand to the right with that Haku has potential Itsu in the Manzu. You'd have to drop one of your shapes though to get that.
Yeah, it's fairly far
So
away.
so yeah, less likely that that would happen. But if you're trying to create value, that's something to think about. Across the table, there is a good set of Pinzu tiles, and that's close to Ipeco. Unfortunately, two of the 9 pins have already been discarded, and the last 9 pin is in Luke's hand. And to the left, we see the 9 mon has been called, hoping for the south, but is going to make Toy Toy here. We see only that one east. Well, here's the south, and now this is Tempai waiting on the 4-pin force. So this would be south. Toy Toy is 340. Otsumo found. So 5,200 points for Bruce, pushing him over 30,000. And we've seen a lot of this. Uh, players fighting over 3 players fighting over 30K, and it looks like Andrew's the odd man out, but really not that far out either. A Mangan Sumo
Yeah,
would be enough to take first.
like very close game here.
Extremely close. This might be the closest I've seen a game go into South 3, or at least casted. And, well, there's a Dora Hatsu in hand for Lin, as well as potential for 6-7-8 Sanshoku. Lots of Kanshan shapes to fill, though. And to the right, Chun pair. More Kanchan shapes. 6-8 pin and 4-6 mon. It's a little awkward, but you can draw around that. Across the table, it's Bruce with, well, still awkward shapes. Hoping to make Ricci here. And more awkward shapes on the left as well. But you've got that south pair, so at least you can call for value. And one of the Dora Hatsu. It looks like the dealer's hand's probably the best here.
Yeah. Sadly, they dropped the 8 instead of the
Oh,
3.
yeah, we'd have better chance at Sanshoku here. Well, there's the Chun call. This hand, Yanshan Tem. Which way do you want to go? Picks the 8. And so you're looking for a pair if you discard this way. Well, you find it. There's the 6. Now you can drop the 3 pin and be Tempai with the 5 mon. Oh, instead chooses the 6 there. And well, you've got 2 callable shapes in the Pinzu, so this might not be terrible. Unfortunately, Lin finds Tempai, and now you're starting to get a little bit nervous. You push the 4 here.
Yeah, really unfortunate that they dropped that 8 mon.
Hmm.
Because it would be Sanchoku.
Yeah, you would have the Sanshoku here. Lesson for the viewer is always think about Sanshoku. I'm a huge Sanshoku fan, so of
I
course I'm always thinking about
Yeah,
Sanshoku.
I can tell.
It's my favorite Yaku. And
It's
well,
a nice taco.
unfortunately for Lin, that 3 of those 7 mon are in the hand across the table, and 1 is in the hand to the right, so he actually has no winning tiles in the wall. Kind of desperately needs a 4 so to come out. so that Bruce might trust Suji and drop them. As it is, it's a 1-4 wait for player to the right, who would love to earn an extra 1,000 points with the Ricci stick. But to the one pin in the dealer's hand and to the hand on the left. Oh, Sewell finds the 4 pin instead. 2,000 points picked up, and this game only gets tighter in South 4. Look at this score line.
Yeah, no one
We move
even
to all
2,000 when
last.
starting.
700 point gap for one player, 100 point for the other player. You don't even need Mangan Sumo here. If you were in Andrew's position, and well, this starting hand, I like it. There's a chance for Pifu Peko here.
Yeah, even though you don't need manga and sumo, the dealership will still continue. So you want to get as much as you can.
That's a really good point. In this league, dealership doesn't end if you are dealer and you win the last round. So you have to fight again, and so you don't want to be like a couple hundred points ahead because then somebody could just sumo and pass you right back up. Well, this is interesting play by Andrew. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. Perhaps thinking about making rather Tanya.
Yeah,
Quick
they dropped the one,
call.
two, three.
Yeah, that was a really interesting decision. Calls all around. Shooting to the left. Everyone's fighting for 1,000 points because 1,000 points is enough to put you in first, no matter which seat you're standing in, except for, of course, dealer, who is indeed fighting for Tanya. Note the call on the left, the Chun call, those red dragons are Dora. So that's not just 1,000 points, that's 8,000 points.
And with the Uma here, it could be a lot of value just from 1,000 point hand.
Hmm. First place netting you 15, and third netting you 0 if you're above 30,000. So, for example, if Luke were to win 1,000 points, that would be an extra 15 points plus the 1,000. So plus 1. And oh goodness, Tempai already on the right for Bruce. Just needs the 6-0, and that's danger for Lin. That 6-0 might come out if he draws the 5-8. So we might see a Sozutal drop from Luke soon too. And Andrew's, trying to build his hand while also preventing the hand on the right from progressing as well. That's already Tempai. Oh, you can't use this 9 for Tanya. That's got to come out. Unless you're fighting for Itsu. You've already
Maybe
dropped
it's
the
just
1.
Tenpai payments?
Yeah, it's so rough to fight for Tempai with 24 draws remaining and knowing that everyone else is fighting for the cheapest hand possible.
Of spread like this, Tenpai payments actually matter a lot.
They do. Well, we're down to 18, and that 6 hasn't come out yet. Oh, will this be a con or just discard? Con, you're still making Mangan unless you flip another tile. So it just comes out. No need to give anyone else the chance to make a huge hand too. Okay, and now Andrew's shifting towards Tanyao again. Ishantem, but this is great. You can call this, drop the 7, and now you're Tempai without having to deal in. That was the last 5 pin too. So now a 2-5 wait for Lin, but needs the 2, and there's only 1 left in the wall. But we're getting close to the end where Andrew might want to call that 9 so back. Oh, the 3's not it. 4 draws remain. Needs to find Tempai. Oh, that's
Oh, the
2!
sumo.
And Lin finishes this game out. Shun, Dora 3, Mongon, ending the dreams of everyone else at the table. It's Lin who will finish first in this game. And my goodness, that was so tense at the end.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe it almost went to Yukioku there.
It's actually a massive sumo because it brought the other players down below 30,000, so the extra 5 from the UMA.
That is such a good point. So not only do you get the 8,000 points, but you also get the +5 from dropping everyone's below 30. And was Lin in second place there or first?
They confirmed the first. They're first
Confirm the
by, like, a
first.
100.
Well, still impressive, +29 for Lin, and that will shift him up the leaderboard up to 7th. It's Bruce in second with uh, negative -zero point 0.4. That's about as small margin as you can get for a negative score. Luke finishes third, -6, despite 29,000 points in that game. And it's Andrew in fourth, -23. So, well, the scores are coming back down together. At the start of this set of games, Luke was at the top and now being brought back towards the rest of the pack. Things are tightening up here. And, when I was playing in the beta league, I saw this happen as well. Things were spread out in the first session, second session, they got tighter, especially with the players in the middle of the pack and the end of the pack. Everything kind of went back together. A few players jumped out ahead at the top, but well, the spread now between this group is 4th through 12th. And it looks like this table is actually planning to play all 4 games today. I always like playing 2 and 2, but sometimes the schedules don't line up perfectly where you can do that, and you just wanna get them all out of the way.
Yeah. I
Alright.
don't like playing all 4 if you lose because, well, you could just easily lose more. But if you're winning, then it's great.
Yeah, mentally, it can be draining to just, start a little bit down, and then mentally, you're trying to make up for the points that you lost, and it just causes you to play worse. Managing the mental side of the game can be a little bit difficult, and spreading out the games can help with that a little bit. Well, it looks like the game started just a little while ago, so it's because we're playing on delay. There will be a short break, looks like about 3 minutes or so, 3 to 4 minutes before the next game starts. And so I don't know about you, but I know I definitely need to get a drink of water. So I think we'll take a brief broadcasting break and we'll be right back. All right, well, we find ourselves in the last Hanchan of the evening, once again at the table with Luke, Lynn, Andrew, and Bruce. And our first dealer is Lynn, who has a pretty decent starting hand. We're looking at for a Tanyao Hugh or a Pinfu or just a Ricci, hoping to draw that Dora 6 pin. To the right, we've got nice Manzu tiles, already an Anko of the 9 mon in a good 2-2-3-4 shape. Interesting to see how this develops. Calling the 2 and discarding your honor tiles. Is this a battle for Chinitsu? I wonder, from Bruce's perspective, what this will turn out to be.
Well, Andrew might be getting the Kokushi.
The fabled Kokushi. Well, we've seen 2 already in this league. We even got to broadcast the last one, I believe. And well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
It didn't
7,
start with
8.
all of those, but
Now you've drawn a pair, so you're up to 10. And it could be a reality. Now, both the Yakuman that have been won so far have been waiting for the tune, and Andrew has already drawn the tune. Does that mean that by proxy he's not going to get it? I wonder.
possibly 2 and Wolves are already out.
Oh, well, we see the con of the 9 mon, and so we know it's impossible. And so now we'll see what this hand turns into. Uh, the 9 so is revealed to be the new Dora, and only that Kokushi hand has one.
Drops the 6.
Maybe still trying to throw out the middle tiles and just play for safety later on. Could have
Yeah.
thought about maybe turning into Chitoi,
Probably doesn't
hanging out.
want to throw the 1 mon against the Chinitsu or Hanitsu.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Those calls are so strange from the perspective of the other players around the table because their honor tiles discarded early, but after these calls, you're still discarding from other suits still. So it's like, well, what is this hand really? Is it really Honitsu or is it like a Toy Toy? But after that pair of 2 pin comes out, then you're thinking, well, it's got to be Honitsu or Chinitsu. And well, dealers Shantan here, super wide weight as well. East selected as the discard tile, so fighting against the Honitsu. And Hatsukal. Hands really far away from Tenpai, so perhaps just putting a little bit of fear into the other players. South Call. Now the fear might be real.
But very disconnected shapes.
From the other players looking at this table, all of the middle Pinzu and Sozu have come out in like one early 8. So it's really unsure of what it could be. And now you start bailing against Dealer Reach, I think. Yep, West comes out. West can be called. That would be the Yakuhai that Luke needs here. The 1 pin is safe. Do you want to get rid of all of your safe tiles? He decides to do so, and it's the 1-4 wait for Luke across the table. Of course, for our dealer, this is a 4-7 wait. Oh! Well, that was the correct decision to fight. One mon is drawn, ending the dealer turn, which was looking to be really nasty. And well, we move on to East 2, Bruce dealership. 2 Dora in hand and a Haku pair. This hand could have some value. On the right, Luke calls the early Haku. We've seen this a lot from Luke. Has the shapes to back it up, though. Could even potentially find Sanshoku as well in the upper tiles. We've got an Anko of 9 pin for Andrew across the table. And some good shapes otherwise, so this hand is looking to be a fast reach. And on the left, Chun pair. Chun might come out pretty soon from Luke. Here it is. Call is made, going to match the speed. This is Tempai, waiting for the 3 mon. Oh, that's drawn by Luke, but he can use that. Now he's got two good shapes that incorporate that 3 mon. And a door as well. Another call for Bruce, who is now revealing that he needs something other than timeout tiles. He needs a Hatsu in this case. Oh, the 3 can't fit this hand, so it comes out, deals into just a Tanyao hand. Only 1,000 points, and the scores remain tight as we move into East 3. Well, this has been pretty fast paced.
Yeah, I feel like Bruce's calls are much higher than 33% in the stats shows.
Hmm. Yeah, we've seen some speculative toy calls in some of the other games. Early call hoping that you can pair things up later on. And to be fair, it kind of has, but um, in that instance, it was an Ishan 10, early call for Tempai, and tight score line. That's not uh, unnatural. We see that quite frequently, I think. And in this hand, it is Luke with the 2 Dora and the 79 sequence already, and a 456 sequence. So this could be a pretty quick hand. Just needs a couple more tiles to come his way. Cannot, or chooses not to call that 2 pin. Would be quite interesting. You call the Dora set, discard the 9 mon, and fight for Tanya, Dora 3, but instead chooses the more standard route of making Ricci with 2 Dora. The hand to the right's getting close. Well, that 5-7-7-8 Sozu shape's a little bit awkward, so maybe not as close as I'd like it to be. You just need a couple good fills, but those fills are a little awkward. And in the meantime, it's an East call from Lin.
Yeah, I think personally I would have called the Dora there.
Mm.
It's just like one terminal tile to deal with.
Yeah, I've heard people say something along the lines of call the Dora set and make your Yaku later. In this case, you only have to drop that 1-9 and then hope to find the 6 or just trade that shape out altogether to make Tanya. Tempai founds for Lin, takes the cheap sumo, and now we've got another player over 30,000, and it is Andrew who's dropped below 30,000. Dealership passes once again. And the scores still tight. Well, this is a nice hand for dealer. Pair of South, pair of Chun. And we've got great shapes on top of that, too. Perhaps the most awkward thing is the fact that you've got 3 pairs. But if you're planning to call the Chun in the South, that means one of your sequences is going to have to go. To the right is an Anko of East Wind, and we're still in the East round, so that is value at East Shanten already. Would love to draw 3 pin is great. So now you can draw just about anything for in those shapes for Tempai. 2-5 would be good. 1 pin would be good as well. You can also draw the 8-mon.
You really greedy Shantan there.
Hmm.
But not the first to Ricci. Just on the Sansa weight with the immediate Suji trap, but that is technically more dangerous. The Ricci Suji.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if anyone can deal into this. It looks like with the 4s in hand, you've got maybe. Now you can see all the 4s. That's great for Bruce, who can call that for Tempai. 4 7-pin. Now he's shunting for dealer. Oh, but it's the quick sumo again, and my goodness. We're back to 30K for Bruce, and now it is Lin who's dropped below 30. when you play at a table like this where everyone seems to be calling and making that fast hand, it kind of puts pressure on everybody else to call and go quickly because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to. And it seems like the first person to get Mangan Richi is just gonna blow everybody else out of the water.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened, like, the first game I played this season.
It's really awkward when when you are like the type of player who tries to craft some sort of massive Mangan Haneman hand, and everyone else at the table is going fast. It's like, okay, 1,000 points, that's not too bad, but I almost had Mangan. Oh, 1,000 points, that's not too bad, but I almost had Haneman. And it's just your frustration starts to build and build as your beautiful hands get lost to, well, 1,000 points. And your score gets
Yeah.
chipped away until it turns out you are in fourth place with, 23,000 points, having not really had the chance to play the way you wanted to. Sometimes it can be hard to adjust to that type of table if you're not used to it.
Dealers Shanten, not wide, but and not without value, or not with value rather, but
Mm.
early Shanten though. Meanwhile, the 3 calls hand on the left is not intent by yet.
Yeah, it's surprising. Usually you'd expect three calls to be tempi, but just needs a pair. And well, you can't pair up the Pinzu tile. You gotta be something else. Luke across the table is called the South Wind, is Ishanten as well, also seeking a pair. And where's the North Wind? We see one's already been discarded and the rest haven't been drawn. The only person who I can really see keeping a North is, well, Luke, who needs a pair. And if you're going to get a pair, why not have it be a Dora pair? Will we see Hadakatanki call made by Andrew? So yes, chooses the seven. So wait. The worst thing that could happen from Andrew's perspective, I think, is a dealer reach right now.
Yeah, sadly can't even wait on the door since dropped it earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
so you just sumo it, but
yeah, you technically can, but you don't really want to. I mean, depending on what happens, you might be afraid to discard it, but okay, this is a better glad you said. Here's the
oh,
Dora. Oh,
no.
it feels so bad to have to drop it. We see all the seven so are still in the wall. All but the two was found by Luke first, and it's another 300, 500 hand, the so-called Gomi hand. We've seen all of those tonight, and well, it's Bruce with his second dealership. Two door in hand. So you go reach here, you're already looking sitting pretty. As far as value is concerned, to the right we've got a tune pair. So that could be a faster type hand. Across the table, you're not too far off. Need to fill a couple tiles, but value's not there either. Well, that's a good draw. Make that 5 mon Anko. Now you are 2 tiles away from Tempai. On the left pairs, one, two, three, four of them. And a door tile, so you can make Chitoi.
Or if you're really dreaming, all greens.
Oh my, well, I wasn't even thinking about that, but that is a possibility. Might make a normal hand though with this one so draw. Problem is you still have so many pairs, it's awkward. And so decides to drop the 9-8 penchant. I kind of like this choice. Shoot, the hand that's made that early call is Ishanten though. Oh, there's another pair, so we're up to 5 now. It looks like probably leaning towards Chitoy. The 9 mon comes out. Of course, you want to hang on to Dora if at all possible. Tempai on the right for 7 mon. 7 being Dora. Oh no, drawing the 9. That would have been Tempai. But as it so often happens with Chitoy, you drop, you have no, you can't predict what you're going to draw in the future. And so frequently you end up with pairs in your discards. Here's that dealer Tempai. We see reach. Here it is on the 8. And this 8 pin, and the 8 mon's scary, but it comes out.
Yeah, 2 more 8 pins in the wall. Oh, just enough to draw it.
Oh,
Finally, a big hand.
Ipatsumo with 2 Dora
And
and
the
the
aura.
Ura. Oh my goodness. So there's your Hanemon. There's that big hand. And now it's Bruce who's sitting pretty in first place with 48,000 points, commanding lead, everyone else below 30,000. It seems we've had everybody above 30,000 or below 30,000 in these games. Well, South pair to start with. We are in the South round, so you can't call that for value. Outside of that, a hand could use a little bit of work. Here's that South. And it's passed, denied by Bruce,
Oh.
who wants to build it on his own. Maybe he didn't even call the second one, so
Throwing out the 9, maybe the 8, 9, Dora. Don't like that decision.
yeah, that is your door connector tile. Maybe it's one of those things where you've sort of committed before your draw as to which tile you're going to discard. And without really looking at your tile, you click it and then realize, wait a second, I could have used that.
Yeah, it does happen
And
sometimes.
now the South pair is coming out. So, well, Bruce doesn't need to win this hand. And maybe he just wants to pass this along as it is. Hand on the right is already Tempai. It's not a good Tempai, so Luke is waiting to improve the weight.
Yeah, but if you wanna pass along, you wanna, like, keep those safer orders for later.
True. Can anybody fight this Tempai? Who else is close? The hand with a chewed pair. That's Ishanten. Andrew might have a fighting chance at this one. Has a Dora as well, and a really wide Ishanten at that. Likely to fill the 369 first. And if so, you could declare reach waiting on the 4 so and the tune. It's kind of tricky, but the tune hasn't been discarded yet. So here's a 6. Now you can switch to a Nobiton weight, a sort of double Tonki weight, a double pair weight for Luke. See what he decides to do. 5-8. Also not declaring Ricci just yet. Oh, and the 8 just comes out.
And
Of
you need a
course,
Ricci for the actual Yaku.
yeah. The 8 less likely to have come out if a reach had been declared, but still a possibility. And now, well, you've upgraded to Ipeko, so now the reach happens. 5-8. We see 3 8s out, oh, all 4 8s out, and 1 5 left in the wall. 6 is Nakasuji, the 6 pin. It's in between that 3 and 9. I wonder if he trusts that. No, 4 instead. Well, that's interesting because the 4 is just kind of out in the middle. But it is safe. That's the important thing for Andrew. With the 6 so-called from Bruce, looking to make Tanyao still a couple tiles away, though. Looks to be fighting, though. I guess that 9 was Suji. The Chun is being kept back in hand. And the Tuso isn't necessarily safe either. Okay, now you're Ishan's head. Which way you go? Tuso. Ooh, it actually doesn't help you that much. Decides to drop the 3 Mon, so waiting to fill the 5/7 Kanchan into Pinzu. And that's a door tile that's coming out. It is Suji.
It's
And
already thrown out before by the dealer.
okay, yeah, I didn't know if that 8 had come out before or after. Well, here's another 5, and that's being kept in hand. Andrew's still battling for Tenpai, afraid of those Pinzu, or wants to build around the Pinzu. 3 tiles remain.
It's actually
Oh,
yeah, the
can't find it.
fives are all in someone else's hands right now.
Yeah, the last one was drawn by the dealer. And wow. So that was a rare hand that did not end with 1,000 points or Mongon. We move into South 3. Luke is our dealer now at 28,000 points in second place, but you want to finish positive. And if you are under 30,000, that's not enough for a positive score. So definitely wants to win at least 2,000 here. And there's a Ricci stick and a couple home boss. So even a 1,000 point hand would be enough, or 1,500 as the case may be. How's the south wind to call as well? To
Yeah, I
the
wouldn't be
right, we
surprised if they call it.
right. We don't see the south yet, but with the scoreline's so tight, you think everyone will fight for what little they can get. And that's exactly what Lin does, calling the Hatsu has a door in hand as well. So we could make Hatsudora 1 or Hatsudora 2, depending on the draws, and capture the 1,600 points that's in the middle of the table right now as well. Needs to find a pair though. Ishantando. And ideally you drop that second 1 pin. In fact, even if you don't, you have the opportunity to call the 3 so. You're probably dropping the 2 pin anyway and waiting on Dora. In a league where there aren't any red 5s, hanging on to Dora becomes a lot more valuable. Oh, Tempai found though. For Bruce, it is Ricci, just Ricci only, waiting on the 7 so, which has been discarded twice. 1 left in the wall, as Andrew has the 3rd.
You're not too likely to come out, but you just throw the pressure up there as your first place.
And not in a particularly scary position right now. And does force Lin to drop his Dora, so now that Hatsuhan has become worth 1,000 points less. Tempai found. Suji 2 so comes out. Waiting on the 4 so right now. Can dealer fight this? Luke wants the points, but it's too far away. And there's the 4 drawn by Andrew. All 3 of the remaining 4 so in his hand. And not quite Tempai yet, 1 tile away. It has the potential to fight against these 2 Tempai hands. That's Tempai. Drop 5, so which is safe. Chooses the Suji 8 instead. It does not declare reach. 2 pin, 4 pin, not amazing.
Yeah, needs to Ricci for that Yaku though.
Right.
Although 2 pin already once cut.
You imagine that a 4 pin's being used by somebody.
And
Likely
they
to be,
are.
yeah, we see that none are left in the wall. And perhaps realizing that, Andrew decides not to declare the Ricci. Still hanging on to Tempai though. It's the 7 so, but Luke is playing safety. And has the 6/9 come out? Well, 6 is pushed anyway. Ooh, 6, so not looking safe. Just it anyway. Everyone fighting for that standby payments. Well, everyone except for Luke. We have 5 draws remaining. None of the winning tiles are live, so as long as everyone just keeps drawing and discarding, you'll be safe. Here we go, the last one. We enter Yukyoku. It is Luke who pays 1,000 to each of the other players at the table, and this will lead to a very exciting and tight all last. Andrew will be our dealer in 4th place with 22,000 points, but a mere 900 points ahead to his right is Lynn. Across the table, Bruce is in a fairly safe position, but on the left is Luke, a very uncomfortable 2nd place. Everyone fighting to make their way ahead of the other player, or the player next to them, and also over 30,000 to make a positive score. And no one has a good starting hand.
Well, two-door on the left,
Okay, we'll make an exception for the 2-door hand on the left.
like fairly good shapes around it as well.
Yeah, you've got good Manzu tiles too.
So maybe a Kokushi on the right.
And when Kokoshi is your best bet, it's not feeling too good. The 3-pin comes out first, so you still got some Honitsu type tiles there. It always feels bad when you just need 2,000 points and your hand is Kokoshi. Well, the dealer's hand could turn into Tanyao, so there's chance here. You could even make Ipeko in the Pinzu, or just a Pinfu hand. You certainly got the Yamen shapes for that. Double-sided sequence weights, and the hand to the left hasn't really progressed that much.
And the right, they discard the 1-pin, opting to go for the Honitsu instead of dreaming for Kokushi.
The more likely play, I imagine. And we see Luke is hedging his bets, starting with the once cut Haku, so not necessarily committing fully to Honitsu or Chinitsu. And the West is called. Drawing the 6, so now are you thinking maybe making Tanya?
Possibly, but
There are Itsu chances, I guess, as well.
I guess it would be very hard to get first.
Yeah.
Might as well just confirm your second.
If you win, Tanya Door 2 with all the sticks in the middle of the table, that'll be enough to go over 30,000. Oh, another pair drawn. Could we see 7 pairs? Or Tanya, which one's going to be? That Honitsu is actually coming together now. Ishantem. Tanya. The call is made by Luke. Waiting on the 6 and 7, so that is the Honitsu suit, though. Oh, that's interesting from Andrew. Chooses to discard the 7-6 Mon, so not able to accept Dora here. I guess you can accept it with a 4, but it works. You find Tempai, Rishi waiting for the 1-4-7 pin. 4 or 7 would be the ideal weight because you get Tanyao and Ipeko as well. Now decisions to be made by the rest of the table. Oh! Ippat. Oh, it's not Ippat because there's a Chi, but Richi Tsumo, Tanyao Ipeko, and Pinfu, of course, for the Mangan. And, well, 4th place becomes 2nd place with a chance at first even.
Yeah, not that far away.
Only, 5,400 with 4 Hombatsu. So that's actually really close. And we were talking about this with all those fast, cheap hands at the beginning of the game. As soon as somebody gets a big hand, that's going to drastically change the board. And that happened with Bruce earlier. Now it's Andrew's turn. He's making a good showing of his last dealership. Just needs one more hand here, one more good hand to pull ahead, although we will go ahead again in that case. Looks to be building maybe Tanyao or 345 Sanshoku. There's some options here.
Yeah,
Does
Bruce is
discard
maybe
door
double
early.
south. Might looking to end this early.
Yeah, Bruce wants to have nothing to do with dealer continuance. So I do imagine that call would be made. And now you've got a backup pair in hand, so you are looking good to make that call. Oh wait, the south comes out. So thinking about Tanyao instead. That's kind of interesting. I think maybe if you're trying to hedge your bets, maybe you start with the 3 pin and still give yourself the ability to call the south.
Maybe, but sometimes you just know. Well, you don't know, but there are the times where the other player might have another pair of the souths.
Hmm. It's awkward when you're counting on the souths to come out and somebody else has got the same thoughts. Well, fast call for Andrew. So this is going to be Tanyao. You can get there in time. Unfortunately, the other players at the table seem to be progressing quite rapidly too. This is a 4-5-6 Ipeco type shape. Tanyao being built by Bruce. That's a call. Ishanten across the table. Ishanten now for dealer. And on the right, Ishanten as well. Who does he want to go with this? You can drop the 8 pin, you can drop the 5 or the 3. So chooses the 3. And here's that south one, but that's okay. Bruce has got Tanya. He doesn't need it now. Who's going to get Tempai first? 2 pin is not what anybody needs. Edge tiles are not what anybody needs. Andrew's got such an awkward weight, though. Needs to call pwn on the 7 pin or 2. So, but the 2 is paired up in the other hand. Or call chi on the 4, so or 6 pin. Those are also getting used up. In fact, we see that there are no 4 or so in the wall at all. And here it is. Tempai for Bruce, winning 2-5 mon. Oh, and that 2 comes out from Luke. And so that ends the game. Bruce confirming his first place. And, well, unfortunately for Luke, that actually drops him down to 4th. The extra Homba payments, I think, did it.
Yep,
And
just
so,
barely.
wow, by 200 points, it's actually Lynn taking 3rd place. And so it finishes Bruce in 1st place with plus 29.9, Andrew 2nd plus 12, who made a good showing that last dealership hand, Lynn in 3rd with negative 16, and Luke 4th with negative 26. Well, after all of that, look at the standings right now. Everyone's grouped together in the middle. 6, 7, 9, and 10 for the 4 players in this group. And well, it certainly was quite an interesting set of Hanchan. As it is, that will be the last Hanchan of this set. This group has played all 4 of their matches, and so they'll just be sitting and watching the rest of the tables play it out. And we will also continue to watch the rest of the tables play it out as the week continues. For those of you who are watching and also playing the league, remember that the earlier you schedule the matches, the more likely it is that your match will be broadcast. And also note that as in addition to the VODs of these broadcasts that you can see on Twitch, there is a YouTube channel as well. You can check it out along with the American Ricci website. It has all the links to the socials there. And so, well, I'm glad we got to watch some exciting B2 and B1 play tonight. For Dustin, it's Nathanael. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in our next broadcast.
See you, everyone.